How about them Valkyries, baby? They're back to 500. They just took care of Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever. Props to them. We'll be talking about the Valkyries a little bit on tonight's show. We're also going to talk Warriors for obvious reasons, because that's the main focus of the program besides giving love to the Valks. Sophia Jones, the color analyst of your Golden State Valkyries, will hopefully join us in about 30 minutes to give us a brief update from the scene at Chase Center. But we're talking Dubs. We're talking Warriors. Armando Lara, columnist. He has his own Substack. It's called Sprewell Was Right. He's going to join me in just a little bit. And I've got some breaking news pertaining to Jonathan Kaminga. It's not huge. You know, there's nothing that you're going to learn in terms of where he's going next. But maybe the information will be interesting to you. You'll understand what I mean in just a moment. And last but not least, in terms of what's on the program, a wish list. I want to reveal to you my personal preference. I'm just going to talk about who I want on the Warriors this offseason. I don't know if it's going to be realistic. I'm going to try to be pragmatic, meaning that my personal wish list will try and align with the realities of the Golden State Warriors, meaning I'm not going to put Giannis Antetokounmpo on my wish list as much as I'd like him on the Warriors. I know he's on the thumbnail, but realistically, he's not coming to the Dubs. I don't think he's going anywhere. Nonetheless, so I will have a wish list for talent, for players that I want to see on the Warriors where there is a semblance of reality pertaining to that. So that's the show. That's what we're talking about tonight. I'm your host, Cyrus Saatsaz. Hope you enjoy. This is the mother effing Golden Days.
They always find something to nitpick, and that's because there's expectations for us to win. Leave me alone this summer.
Let's go. In a minute, I'ma need a sentimental man or woman to pump me up.
Armando, where are you, brother? Find out. Welcome to the Golden Days. I'm your host for the evening, Cyrus Saatsaz. You can follow me on Threads and Instagram at Dog Wild. Over on Twitter, my handle is Surf Journalist. The program's on both platforms at Golden Days Pod. Before we get into it, before I reveal my personal wish list for the Golden State Warriors, players that are realistically achievable, attainable, the more proper nomenclature there. But we're doing that. We're going to briefly touch on the fact that there's going to be a Game 7 in the Western Conference Finals. That's insane. That's awesome. Go Pacers. And the Valkyries. The Valkyries are a 500 team 12 games into the season. They're going to get their flowers. So stay tuned for that. And right off the bat, Cho Boy in the audience mentioning that DeAnthony Melton can't come back to the Warriors. Some rule after they traded him. That's why you have me, because I'm gonna give you some good news pertaining to that and so much more on today's program. But let's give some love to our sponsors first and foremost, because without them, we're not getting paid. If we're not getting paid, we don't work for free. So the audience, we don't exist without them. And the sponsors, we don't exist without them. So the sponsors I'm mentioning right now, and side note, we're in talks with some great organizations in terms of some big title sponsors that we hope will be long-term. Stay tuned for that. But a band that has been loyal to us for months now, a band that you can hire for your event, whether it's a wedding, whether it's an anniversary, whether it's a fundraiser, whatever it is. It could also be, and when I say fundraiser, that's not a family event. I meant birthdays, anniversaries, any kind of celebration personally, or for a business. If you're looking for a live music for your company event, think of the Catalina Wine Mixer. That would not happen if Prestige Worldwide was not pumping some phenomenal music. Live music is the essence of humanity. Why not hire the best there is out there? They're a cover band. They're called Decades. Their website is decadesofficial.com. They are a cover band that plays everything from the 50s to today, from Chuck Berry to Katy Perry. You name it, they'll play it for you, within reason, of course. They even play my all-time favorite, Tom Petty, rest in peace. And they're available for you. They're so good that Eddie DeBartolo hired them for his private party in Montana. If the 5-time Super Bowl champion Eddie DeBartolo, a man who has an eye for talent, a man who knows what good taste means, you can hire the same band for you. They play every red zone rally before Niner games, next door to Levi Stadium in Great America. And they could play your event. They're called Decades. Email Kyle@atomicmusicgroup.com. Again, Kyle@atomicmusicgroup.com if you want to get in touch and book them. You can also go to decadesofficial.com, mention the program, mention anything pertaining to the program, and you will get a discount. Support the program by supporting Decades, please. Book them and thank me later. Today's episode also brought to you by BetOnline, and this is where Armando Lara, where the hell are you? Because I was going to run some lines with him right now. Hopefully he'll join us very soon here. BetOnline, the world's most trusted betting platform. Again, one more time, please book Decades. They are phenomenal. So is BetOnline, the official sports book of Golden Days. And this is how awesome the Valkyries are in terms of winning tonight's game. They were 11-point favorites, and they won by 11 points. Is that technically, does that constitute a 22-point swing? I don't know if that actually does. But look, when you're an 11-point underdog and you win by 11, I think overachiever is the right word to apply here. Bravo to the Golden State Valkyries, who covered the spread, beat Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever. They've got some talent on that team, and we're going to talk about them in a little bit. You could have made money. I can't remember what the money line was for betting on the Valks for tonight's game, but you would have made a nice, pretty penny betting on the Valkyries. And I'm on their website right now because, ladies and gentlemen, we have a Game 7 approaching here. A Game 7 of the NBA Finals. Damn, is that some good shit. And I believe that game is going to be Sunday at 5 p.m. We're going to go live following that. The Valkyries play as well. So we will have a Sunday episode to discuss Game 7, to discuss Warriors, to discuss Valks, and so much more. But if you're curious to know what the spread is for that Game 7, I don't think you'll be surprised to learn that the OKC Thunder are favored, because they've been favored in literally every game this series. Game 7 is no exception. The OKC Thunder are I had to look to confirm that number was right. They're 8-point favorites in Game 7. If you think the Pacers are going to pull this off, go Pacers. Yes, sirs. I believe that's their fan slogan right now. Plus 260 is the money line for that. The OU for that game, 215.5. And there's no better place to put money on the action than BetOnline. Again, the world's most trusted betting platform. They're a place that you don't have to worry about your money when you make a deposit. They've been around for a long time. They're proud sponsors of both the Believe Network and Golden Days. We vouch for them. Your money's safe. You can get your money back if you win. And that's why they call themselves the world's most trusted betting platform. The game starts here with BetOnline. I'm going to text Armando Laura with a simple "where you at?" because I'm waiting on the professor to piggyback some conversations and so forth. We're going to talk about Valkyries and so forth. I'm also going to answer as many questions as I can to the audience. For example, going back to the Cho boy here, who at the very start of the show brought up DeAnthony Melton, who, yes, will be on my wish list. I want him back in a Warriors uniform. Cho boy brings up the fact that because the Warriors traded him, they can't get him back. The rule, to my understanding, is it's a 6-month, I don't think moratorium is the right word, but there's like a 6-month window, as far as I know, and I'll double check on this as well, in terms of getting a player back that you traded. And what I mean by that is that the Warriors traded DeAnthony Melton, I believe, in December 2024. 6 months from that is around now, I think. So if I'm not mistaken, and I don't think I am, but I will double check that information, Showboy, I believe DeAnthony Melton will be eligible to come back to the Warriors next month. So if Melton really wants to come back to the Warriors and the interest is mutual, I don't think that rule will be an impediment. And I hope I make sense saying that. 510 Steve in the chat says Brandon Pajemski needs his courtside seat privilege taken away. The dude is literally annoying on TV. I can't imagine in person. And I think what 510 Steve is referencing here more specifically is Brandon Pajemski had courtside seats to tonight's game, sitting next to Warriors owner Joe Lacob and Warriors GM Mike Dunleavy Jr. And those seats are on the near side of the TV camera. So every time Pajemski stood up, first of all, it's not hard to figure out who he is. His hairstyle is unique. His fashion is fairly unique. So every time he stood up to cheer on the Valkyries, you had a pretty good idea it was him. And I'm guessing that's what 510 Steve. You know what? I'm going to do another thing here as well. I'm going to invite the audience. It's been a little while since I've engaged with other people who I don't know personally. And who love this show. The link is now in the chat. If you want to come on and express ideas, if you have questions, if you have takes of your own, if you want to start shit with me, whatever you want to do, just jump on in. Let's have some fun. But Brandon Pajemski, I'm guessing that's what you meant, 510 Steve, that he was standing up a lot. The guy is 6'4", 6'5", so I imagine if you're sitting behind him, that was a little annoying. And because of his size and where he was actually seated, it was very noticeable every time he stood up. So if that's why you were annoyed, I got it. I don't know if there was any meaning to Steve Kerr being at the game and sitting a little ways up. He did not get the courtside seat. So I hope that means some of his power and influence is waning. I highly doubt that, because in the same breath that I expend mentioning Kerr not getting courtside seats, we also got the news this week. It was just a day or so ago that his son, Nicholas Kerr, has been moved up from Santa Cruz. He's going to be an assistant coach with the Golden State Warriors this season. Nepotism is alive and well, friends. So Nicholas Kerr, don't call him Nick if you're going to mention his last name. And side note, huge props to Saturday Night Live. I'd play that clip on this show if they wouldn't flag it. I'm pretty sure NBC is pretty litigious and pretty active in terms of flagging copyrighted content of theirs. But I highly recommend checking out the clip of the Weekend Update crew having some fun with Steve Kerr's son's last name. And if in case you're living under a rock, or if you've been hiding out somewhere and you don't know what that reference is, just say his first and last name together. But don't say Nicholas Kerr. Say the shortened version. Say Nick. And I'm going to take a nice big long pause. Kerr. Don't say those two together very fast. SNL had a good laugh in that regard. And yeah, so Nicholas Kerr is now an assistant coach with the Golden State Warriors because his daddy is the head coach. Sorry, I really don't care what the scenario is. Not a fan of nepotism. It's just literally the epitome of a lack of fairness and equity in this world when people are tabbing their children to take powerful positions. It's rampant. It's common in the NBA, but just because it's happening doesn't justify it, doesn't make it right. You can still speak out about it, myself included, if you don't think it's just, because it ain't. But nonetheless, so Nicholas Kerr is now an assistant coach with the Warriors. And the Valkyries won tonight. I just got heard back from Armando Lara. He will be joining us in a few minutes. So I will jump right into and Sophia Jones might join us as well. I hope that happens. No guarantees there, just because she's in the broadcast booth at Chase Center. Again, color analyst for the Valkyries. Sophia Jones might join us in a few minutes. But let me get into the breaking news. This is exclusive news that you're only getting here at Golden Days. Yes, folks, contrary to what some of the haters will now and again bring up, I actually do have connections, folks. It's not just Anthony Slater, who's an insider for the Warriors. And side note, I don't know how much longer Slater's going to be around. I heard that he got hired by ESPN, so there may be a void in terms of information when it comes to the Dubs and all the content that Dub Nation consumes. I'm curious to see what happens there. More than likely, Steve Kerr is just going to relish in the environment of propaganda in this scenario he has created where the media bows to him. And again, he is a media savant. He has mastered this craft, whether it's with broadcasting, communication in general. So I don't know what's going to happen when Anthony Slater moves on in terms of information. We're probably just going to know less. Thankfully, I still have some sources in that building, and here's what my sources have told me. I'll just say it out. A source close to Jonathan Kaminga's camp told me that Jonathan Kaminga heard Steve Kerr's comments. In case you missed the what happened in the 2-3 weeks following the conclusion of the season for the Golden State Warriors, Steve Kerr was doing interviews all over the place for no good reason other than to try to save face, because the whole "we don't need you, Kaminga, you're not a good fit, Kaminga" angle blew up in his face. Didn't work out. It made no sense, and the results matched the lunacy of it. Well, he was doing all these interviews. Oh, here we got Armando with us now. Good to see you, bud. I just started revealing to everyone, and while you're here, I haven't actually said what this information is, so I'd love to get your reaction to this. Got your graphic all set up. So, an Armando Laura professor at UC Berkeley. He's a columnist on Substack. His column is called Sprewell Was Right. And Armando, I'd love to get your reaction to this news, because literally I'm the only one reporting this right now. So, Steve, I was mentioning that Steve Kerr was doing this huge media tour. You were as aware of that as anyone. And one of the clips that he said, which I'm going to now report, potentially got him in hot water. He brought up the fact that, that he did not see a world where he can play Jonathan Kaminga 38 minutes a night, right? He didn't view Kaminga as a full-time player. And then he backtracked from that. Like his answers were parabolic. There was no consistency. I think even he knew he put his foot in his mouth when he said that, because I think the very next day he did another interview where he said, I can find a role for him. Like we can make it work, right? He was backtracking massively. Well, Kaminga took notice of those comments. And what my source told me, a source very entrenched within Kaminga's inner circle, he noticed it. He did not like it. And it doesn't mean that he's not going to come back, but Kerr's comments are factoring into his decision. In other words, Kaminga is very aware that Steve Kerr said he can't find 38 minutes a night for him, and he was not stoked about that. Not at all. And again, this was the same program that broke the news when Kaminga was first benched in the second half of that loss to the Nuggets 2 years ago. We were the ones breaking the news that he was not happy about it. And then the next day it made national headlines because his agent came out and said, I want out, right? Like what is the point of staying here if you're not going to play me? That was 2 years ago, side note. He's unhappy again for good reason. And again, this doesn't mean that he won't come back, but I do know, I think Tim Kawakami in a column today, correct me if I'm wrong on this, mentioned in rather flippantly, like he was sort of spitballing here. He wasn't, I don't think he was like quoting sources or anything. He was just kind of just expressing his own opinion on the matter. He gave it like a 55% chance that Kaminga was going to come back or not going to come back. And I think that's actually accurate. I don't think Kawakami was saying that based off this kind of information, but now that I know that Kaminga's aware, and now you all know as well that Kaminga's very aware of what Steve Kerr said, and again, not stoked about it, this is where we're at. And what are your thoughts on it, man? Do you have any? Oh, Sophia Jones is going to join us in just a second. But real fast, Armando, give us your reaction to...
No, I just want to say, like, you have been on... You obviously have the inside track with some of Kaminga's camp, because you have reported... I mean, I've been following you for the last few years, and what I see, but reading between the lines on the media, and you'll corroborate things I'm hearing, because everything you just said, I have no doubt, Kaminga, that's no doubt that's the inside track.
I've been doing this for 25 years, so I hope if nothing else, my credibility at least is intact. I don't report false information. Everything I do report, doesn't blow up in my face, thankfully. So I appreciate you saying that, man. Really stoked. And I'm also really appreciative that we have with us right now the color analyst for the Golden State Valkyries. I know you're on a very tight window, Sophia. This is a quick in and quick out, but the timing is perfect because I have not given much time to the Valkyries yet. other than reminding people they were 11-point underdogs in this game tonight. They win by 11. Your reaction, Sophia, to the Valkyries going back to 500. They've won 4 of their last 5. They play damn good team basketball. Your reaction, great to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you. I think you put it best just with the team basketball. I mean, they had 45 points off the bench, but didn't come from just one person. Leticia Me here added 10, Tiffany Hayes added 14, Kate Martin added 9, and and then Chloe Bibby added 12. So it was just a total team effort. And I said it on air, I think this is the best end of game offensive execution that this team has showed so far this season.
Incredible. Yeah, it was damn good basketball. It was entertaining. They were trailing at the half. I was a little concerned personally. Sophia, one player that really stuck out to me in this game as an absolute positive, and please forgive me for the naivety of not being familiar with this individual until tonight's game. I don't doubt she's been on the team, but I just wasn't aware of how good she is, I guess. Her name is Leticia Amir. Did I pronounce that name correct?
So it's Leticia Ami here.
I apologize.
And so with some of the Valkyries' departures for Eurobasket, she was signed to a contract. So that's why we're seeing her. But she was actually with the team for the preseason game. And I loved her on that training camp roster and her showings then. And she's just filled the exact role that she needed to when the team was down a couple numbers.
Dude, she had 4 blocks tonight. And her defense was outstanding. I feel like every time a big stop was made, it was her name being mentioned because of that excellent defense. And props to her. Props to the Valkyries. Again, I'm a huge fan of head coach Natalie Ndakase for obvious reasons. She knows her stuff. She is very knowledgeable when it comes to basketball. A stat that is shocking to me. And Sophia, I don't know if you have an explanation or an answer for this, but I'd love to know from your perspective the how and why of Caitlin Clark being held to just 11 points in this game tonight. And the stat that pops out to me the most, 0 of 7 from 3. What did the Valkyries do there? Was it the Valkyries defense? Was it more her struggling? Your thoughts?
I think it was 100% her defense. Head coach Natalie Ndakase has spoken about Kasib Powell, one of their assistants, just having that defensive game plan. And they were throwing a lot of doubles, a lot of hard hedges at Caitlin Clark to prevent her from getting that easy look just coming off the screen and pulling. So I saw a lot of that and just the one-on-one defense as well. We have a couple just dog defenders on our team. We saw Kayla Thornton, Veronica Byrne, and Tiffany Hayes all kind of took turns guarding her, but they really did an excellent job of not letting her get any comfortable looks.
She did not look comfortable at all. The Valkyries looked fantastic. They dug deep into the bench. How was the environment there? I have friends and colleagues of mine who literally couldn't go to the game tonight because the press section was full. That is the star power of Caitlin Clark. She's a superstar. Magic Johnson a few days ago was in the news because he gave his definition of what a superstar is. In his definition, a superstar fills opposing teams' arenas, right? And Stephen Curry, for example, when the Warriors were on the road, thousands of people in those arenas are wearing Stephen Curry jerseys, right? He's a superstar. I think you can say LeBron James is a superstar. And I think as crazy as this sounds, given how young she is, Caitlin Clark's a superstar. What was the environment like to you and the whole scene?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say that Caitlin Clark sold out the arena because this game was our 6th straight sellout. So I think the Valkyries have just been doing that by themselves, but it's always going to be a special show when Caitlin Clark comes. But the environment was really incredible here today at Chase Center. Out of the wins, I think that the Valkyries have had, other than their very first one, I will put this right up there. There was so much energy. It was so loud. It was sometimes hard to hear the whistle being blown. But yeah, I think that everyone just had a great time.
Armando, Sophia's on a very tight window. This is a cameo appearance. And Sophia, thank you sincerely for joining us for just this brief moment. Armando, do you have a question for Sophia before we let her go?
Sophia, like for those of us that know the Valkyries are like a expansion team, what do you think is like I mean, they're playing really well. I'm assuming they're outperforming expectations. What are some like reasons what are the underlying reasons for that outperformance over this great season they're having?
Yeah, it's really just so much that goes into it. I think if you start at the top and you look at the front office, they've got a great group of players together. They pour into this team so much. I mean, their facilities are gorgeous and resources, so that can really mean a lot. From the coaching staff, head coach Nana Kase, she's intense, but in a great way. And I think that her mindset really kind of diffused to the rest of the team. And I think that Tammy Fagbenle put it best. She's our starting center. She's with Team Great Britain now in Eurobasket, but she said that after this team beat the Seattle Storm last Friday, that they're a team full of 6 women. They've all had that kind of just dog mentality to them where they have to step into whatever role and just do whatever is asked of them at full effort and energy. And I think that's exactly what this team is.
And they're beating good teams. And that's where, to me, that's the evidence that shows me these Valkyries are real. This is a team not to be reckoned with. The vibe I get from the Valkyries in terms of an outside team's perspective, meaning I always try to put myself in the shoes of other individuals, and in this case, other teams, just to try to understand what they feel like. If I'm another WNBA team here, I don't want to play the Valkyries in the playoffs. That is a team I want nothing to do with. They're aggressive. They give 100% effort every possession. And Natalie Nakase, she gives me Eric Spoelstra vibes, like heat culture, right? Like effort, intensity, I love her. I love her in the most platonic way imaginable. As a head coach, she is fantastic. Any final thoughts, Sophia, before you enjoy the start of your night? And yeah.
Well, I don't know about start of my night. I think it's the end of my night. I am tired. I've been at this arena for maybe like 4 hours now. 5 hours actually. Now I looked at the time. Yeah. So I feel like I'm not with the players, I'm not with the coaches, but I just feel so proud of this team and their resiliency and how they've just managed to play and overcome so many of just kind of the doubt surrounding this team. And I think this game was a perfect example of the grittiness and that the Valkyries are here to stay.
Dude, they're entertaining. They're fun. I can't believe they're an expansion team. You already get veteran vibes from them. Sophia, I don't know if you heard, by the way, there's going to be a Game 7 in the NBA Finals. Any thoughts on that?
I heard there was a Game 7. Saw that the Pacers won. Didn't even see the score, watch any of the game, really.
You didn't miss a thing. It was a blowout. Like, the Indiana owned that game.
Well, you know what? Because I think I saw that the next game is going to be Sunday. And Valkyries play too, so I guess I just won't be able to watch much of that. And
that's all right.
I am perfectly fine with that because this team is so much fun. Like, I cannot emphasize that enough.
You have the best excuse imaginable for missing Game 7. And you're right. The Valkyries play again Sunday. So is Game 7. We're going to go live that night. And Sophia, you join us every Monday at 3 p.m. Pacific time. And in addition to nice exceptions like these, I can't thank you enough. Go get some rest. You've had a long day. Great job as always. And again, you can catch Sophia Jones during the games, obviously. You're the color analyst, but after the games, you and Kevin Dana also do a post-game show covering the Valkyries for about 30 minutes or so on 95.7 The Game, and it streams on Odyssey. Anything else we need to mention that you feel like I forgot?
So all home games will be on 95.7, and every single home and away game will be on the Odyssey app. So that's how you can listen.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sophia. And again, get some rest. Just keep killing it. I'm so proud of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Have a nice night. That is the talented, the charming, the highly intelligent Sophia Jones. Always a pleasure to bring her on the program.
95.7 The Game there, Cy.
Yeah, well, it's they have the rights, right? So they carry all the Warriors games, they carry all the Valkyries games. But yeah, what are you gonna do? And their parent company Odyssey. I'm a little surprised to hear that 95.7 The Game is not broadcasting all the road games. Apparently they only carry the home games. I don't know what the logic or reasoning is behind that, but what are you gonna do? Armando, before we get back to the Warriors, do you want to have you ever chatted with Chardal before?
Oh yeah, Chardell, the nightcap. That's what I call Chardell, the
We're gonna
nightcap.
call. Well, this is gonna be an early appetizer in this case. Chardal, how you doing, brother? Been a little
Hey,
while.
hey, Sai, I'm a big fan of your YouTube channel. You make some great content. I love everything you do, brother.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work. You cover the Warriors very well.
Thank you.
They're not
I try. How's your
um
summer going, Chardal?
my
Any trips
summer
back to Mexico?
my
Anything like that?
sum not yet. We're planning to take a vacation soon. We don't know if we're gonna take one in the near coming future. How have you been doing on this night?
I've been well tonight. I've just watched a lot of basketball, man. It was a game 6, Valkyries, pizza, English Bulldog snuggles. That's my night, brother, and I enjoy that. That's how I roll right now. How about you?
I've been great. I've been doing great on here. I love coming on here. It's a very open space where people can share what they want to say and people can say whatever they want to say on here. And it doesn't matter if they get rejected, they can come on here. I get rejected all the time
We all do. It's a part of life, Chardal. It's okay.
by girls.
Well, that too. We all do. I've never met a single male in my life, even the really good-looking ones. They get rejected. We all got to deal with that part of life. It sucks, and I think that's why sometimes we end up settling.
I'm a handsome 29-year-old who gets rejected by girls.
We all do. Again, Chardal, welcome to the club.
It's great
Welcome
being.
to the club. It's a part
great.
of life. It sucks. It's a part of it. What are you gonna do?
Armando,
how's
you're a great professor at UC Berkeley. I looked at your profile. I mean, what? By the way, let me. What do you teach at Berkeley, if I don't mind asking?
I teach economic sociology.
Sai, I would love to take a course of journalism by you.
I would love to. Take a class of,
I would love to be. I would love to be in the classroom with Sai. I would love to take a journalism class with you.
I want to learn some sociological economics. Do you focus, Armando, on U.S. sociology, global, or is it not a geography based?
We live in a global. Okay. We live in a global system. You got to teach it that way. Even
though Trump's trying to change that, right? But his efforts, I don't think are very effective. I don't think you can put that genie back, right? Is that a fair thing to say? Start to make it about economics.
No. Chardell, are we ever going to hear from your father? I've always wanted to hear about your dad.
My dad's a very nice guy.
Yep.
Will we ever hear him? Like, do you ever involve him with your sports talk?
I don't involve him with my sports talk.
Okay.
Does your dad like sports?
My dad doesn't. He only likes cricket.
That's a very popular sport in a lot of places in the world.
My dad loves cricket.
Do you love cricket?
I love cricket.
Do you have a favorite team in cricket?
India.
Why is cricket not popular in the U.S. in your opinion? Because it has not taken off here.
Cricket is just like baseball.
I know, but you bounce the pitch, right? And it's got a big ball and that weird bat that's more like a paddle. I mean, it's got some differences, correct?
Cricket's very international sport. All around the world, it's played internationally over many countries.
It's very popular. Chardal, any final thoughts before we get back into the flow here?
What were your thoughts on the win for the Golden State Valkyries over the Indiana Fever with Caitlin Clark coming into town?
Dude, she went 0 for 7 shooting from deep. I think it was fantastic.
I'm a big fan of the Golden State Valkyries. I have I have a keychain which has my lock and my key at work, and it says Golden State Valkyries on it. So every time people come up to me, they say you have a keychain that says Golden State Valkyries on it.
Sounds good. Chardal, I want to, before you go, is Kaminga going to stay, or is Jonathan Kaminga going to lead the Warriors? Your thoughts?
Kaminga is going to stay. I'm a big fan of your content, and I love everything you do.
Thank you.
You're a very humorous person on YouTube, and you make me laugh. Anytime I'm having a bad day, I come on your show. I feel like everything just evaporates right away when I come on your show.
Well, if that's true for everyone,
it's true, and you inspire me.
Wow, brother!
I can't
handle this. Thank you.
I want to be a member of the media. I want to be a member of the Warriors media family.
You got to work for someone if you want to get the credential thing going.
That's the key. Viewers, make sure to click the like button, smash the subscribe button, and ring the notification bell for the SGS Sports Talk channel. I'm at 432 subscribers. I'm on the road to 500
Yes,
subs, so
sir.
make sure I get there because I would really love to get there. And viewers, make sure to click the like button, smash the subscribe button, ring the notification bell for Golden Days in reference to the Matthew McConaughey movie, the greatest stoner movie of all
We
time.
almost said in the
Number
dungeon.
one,
You're
number
it's okay.
one,
It's okay, Shardol.
number
It's okay.
one, number one on that list. But I love everything you do.
Thank you.
And I'll definitely join you on another
Sunday.
Valkyrie
I'm
Golden
live again
State.
Sunday if you want to join me.
I'll join you on Sunday for another. I'll join you back for another Golden State Valkyries post game show. Let's get another win for the Valkyries, man. I'm a big fan of Kate Martin, Caitlin Chen, Kayla Thorne, Tammy Benley. I love the Valkyries, man. They're a great team under head
Sophia
coach
Jones Vanderloo.
Natalie Nakase, President Jess Smith, General Manager Oi Manayanin.
Wow. Even
The big three trio, greatest women ever. They run this organization so well. I love you. I love everything about you.
right back at you, brother.
Armando, I
Thank
love you. You're a great person. Thanks for coming on here, being the special guest. I'll join you for another Golden State Valkyries post game show. Hope you keep the night rocking, brother.
I'll see you Sunday, okay?
I'll see you Sunday.
Remember,
See you later,
Shardol, if I do the 24-hour show, which is still on schedule, I'm thinking July 4th might be the day. Nothing's set in stone. It might actually be later than that. Here's the deal. If Kaminga does, in fact, leave, and this ends up like, let's say Cody White is who the Warriors get in return. Side note, if that's what happens, the Warrior, that's a disaster of a trade. That is a loss. Yes, Armando thumbs down.
Armando, I'll always be a Spartan for life. Bleed the blue and yellow
yes,
and gold.
Shardol,
for life.
real quick, Shardol, my point was if that goes according to plan, I'm going to do a 24-hour filibuster episode where people have been asking me for a long time because I've hyped it up for a long time. That's on me. The Steve Kerr's gut going wrong episode, right? I've been hyping that up for a while. I'm going to do a 24-hour filibuster episode just highlighting everything. And you're going to give me an hour, right?
I'm going to give you an hour.
All right, sounds
and
good.
when I come on for the 24-hour live stream, I'm gonna wear an all-black suit, red tie.
All right, you don't have to.
I'm gonna look fine for the ladies.
Sounds good. And don't let the rejection
Cy, thanks for having me on. I love everything you do, and keep it rocking, brother. Keep the night going, man. You're doing really well. Keep the night going.
Thank you, Shardol. Thank you so much. The great Shardol. Armando, you just had your first taste of the Shardol experience. How did that feel?
It felt good. I love Shardol. I've been a guy in the comment section for a while now, and I love the Shardol experience.
It is fascinating. He's a great dude. And again, if I do the filibuster episode, he's going to be a part of that. Ray's in the chat. I don't want to keep him waiting. What's on your mind, brother? Good to see you. How are you doing?
Hello? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
It's the quality's kind of sketched out, but we can hear you. What's up?
Is it bad or is it reasonable? You can hear me.
I can hear you right now. What's on your thought? What's on your mind?
Okay. I was just thinking about off-season targets, and my number one person I really want is Melton, DeAnthony Melton.
Me too.
He's like last season with him, the starting lineup. Like before he got injured, we were really good. So I really want him. And one person to eye from the Grizzlies will be Santi Aldama. He's not bad. He's 6'11". He's pretty tall. He's young, and I mean he doesn't have crazy stats, but he's an all right shooter.
Is he available? Is he an unrestricted free agent?
Yeah, he's an unrestricted free agent. So,
he is. You're right. He's going to be expensive though, brother. Like would you be willing to spend, let's say, $20 million a year on him because he's going to ask for that kind of money?
Do you think so? I feel like his stats really don't warrant that.
You're right. You're right. I'm just telling. That's a gut thing. I could be wrong on that, but he's young. Like he's young. Yeah. He has size. He has a high basketball IQ. You're right that the numbers are not like they don't explode. They don't pop off the page, metaphorically speaking. But he's got value, and something tells me he's going to get paid. I would love him too. I'm not poo-pooing your idea. I'm just saying he might command a lot more money, largely because he's 24. You know, and that age and his size, and again, he's not a bad player at all.
Is he 24 already?
Yeah, he's already. Did you say already?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Wow.
growing up.
Yeah, you might be right because young players nowadays are more expensive. You see Desmond Bain and stuff. So maybe I
Crazy.
don't
That
know.
price again, that's
Yeah,
again, every team I talked about that last show, every team is in a different position. When you're the Orlando Magic and you have virtually no chance of recruiting a high profile, high quality free agents, that's what you got to do. You got to when you're in a win now mode, you got to overspend to boost your roster, and that's what they did. By the way, Santi Aldama is a restricted free agent. So
yeah.
um
They
I don't
can
know
match.
what's going to happen there. It's not a bad idea, Ray. I'm not saying it's a bad call. I just don't know if it's realistic. Anyway, any other names before we get back to it?
Yeah. So about centers, I really want to get one guard and one center because when you go to the playoffs, you don't play really deep. You play 7, 8 deep, and I feel Pods will be part of that lineup and stuff. And we'll see with JK. I don't know about JK's future, but I don't know if you guys saw the report about Quinton Post, and they're planning to use him as the starting center. Have you seen that?
What report? Who wrote that? Do you know?
I have to check. It was on X. I don't know who it was, but they said there were. I,
Do
I
me,
was,
do me, Ray. Do me a favor, and this applies to everyone. When you see something on X, don't just immediately believe it, please. I'm begging. Like just, most
There
most of
there
this
was
stuff is not true.
there was
I'll look it
definitely
up. I'll look it up to verify it. Do you like the idea if that's true that he's going to start?
I mean, for our offense, it would be good because stretch five, he'll open space for everybody. But he really needs to improve defensively and with rebounds. He cannot be our starting center. He's gonna be picked on. Y'all saw him this year with Minnesota. He was unplayable. And if we added him, like if he was like at least competent defensively, we
Yeah.
could have won that game. Who knows? But it's sad. So, but like for a center, like a backup center, Goga. I don't know. I think I'm saying his name wrong. He
The
plays
guy
on
with
the
the
Magic.
magic?
Yeah, yeah.
I love him
I
too.
would,
I brought his name up for years. He's not going to be an unrestricted free agent this year, but if they can get him in some sort of trade scenario, I've been saying the same thing too. And he's very like misused with the Magic. I don't know why he likes staying there when he oftentimes gets no minutes. But what is it? Bidots? Is that his last name? I forgot what it is, but I know who you're talking about. Ray, have a good night, brother. Unless you have any other names you want to throw out real fast.
Yeah, no, just one last thing about
Because
Kaminga
we're going to bring up a
situation.
lot of names on the show.
Yeah.
I promise. We're going to, this is what we're about to dive into, is listing every potential name out there that the Warriors can realistically get. I'm not bringing up names like, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Miles Turner. Like, forget about that. Like Giannis, I don't think he's going anywhere to begin with. Miles Turner is going to be insanely expensive. We're going to be realistic. And that's why D'Anthony Melton's name comes up, because he's going to be cheap, at least for this next year. I think you can get him for a bargain deal. I hope anyways.
cheap.
Yeah, sir.
Okay, so my last thing I wanted to say is about this Kaminga situation, and I know the fans are really, really, really like stressing about this and divided, but really, I would love to give Kaminga a chance. Two for one deal, maybe give him 20 mil, get him for he was unplayable. But anyways, uh, Kaminga. I don't want to sign and trade him. That's the worst thing we could do. We're gonna get 50% of his new contract, and we won't be
Oh,
able to.
no. That's not going to happen. They could get the full amount back. You just get hard capped at the first apron if you do that. Not the worst thing in the world. The Warriors were in that same position last year. Difference between the first apron and second apron, I think, is 195 versus 207 million. And again, you want that extra 12, obviously, but don't let that rule make you think that the 50% thing is going to be an obstacle. The Warriors can easily get back equal value. They just get hard capped at the first apron. My bigger concern with the sign and trade for Kaminga is what you're getting back, right? Like if this team's in a win now mode, you better get somebody back that's going to make it happen and also not sacrifice your future. Ray, I'm going to let you go. Is that okay? No hard feelings?
What do you think about Kobe White? I just wanted to say, do you think that's a good idea or no?
I like him, but not just for Kaminga, if that makes sense. Like Kobe White can put up numbers, but it does matter to me that his team was what, 8th, 9th, 10th in the East?
Yeah,
If you're a good player and you're in the East, your team's winning games. Winning's supposed to matter. And Kobe White can put up numbers, but he's turning 26 and his team does not win. So that's why I have reservations about that. What do you think?
Thank you. I feel like he's an alright scorer, but I feel like that's not what we need, to be honest. I feel we need other aspects like defense, rebounding. I feel like he would help our scoring, but we got Jimmy and Steph, so I don't think that's the best thing. And he's on the East. Just saw Dennis Schroeder too. He was good numbers on a bad team. You get him, and he doesn't. So I will try to get
Exactly.
quickly back fit. But thank you. I hope you guys have a great show.
You
I
too,
hope you
Ray.
have,
You
yeah.
too, Ray. Thank you. Thank you so much. Armando, what are your thoughts on all that? He said a lot of things there, man. And I feel like I was hoarding time. I
You're
apologize.
gonna
What
hear
were your
me
thoughts
say
on
this
everything Ray said?
with many names tonight, but like, any guard they bring in, you have to think, where is the coach gonna play him? So like, sure, White is great if you play him as a backup point guard for 25 minutes a game. Like, that would kill. That's exactly what the Warriors need, with dribbling, shooting, breaking down defense. The dude is gonna play small forward for Steve Kerr for 30 minutes a game next to Brandon Podjemski. So like, now, I'll say this over and over again, but suddenly, why is Kobe White not shooting well on the Warriors? Well, it's because he's being guarded by an elite defender.
Yeah.
And he's having a gang rebound. Like, the things all trickle down. So like, you have to think about, as a front office, who can you bring in order for the coach to play winning basketball? That's every trade that everybody mentions in the chat. That's the lens I'm operating through.
You know what? One thing I learned just today, Armando, and again, this is the CBA and the complexities of it. And maybe I'm behind the curve in just learning this now, but Eric Pincus wrote a story today, and Pincus writes for Bleacher Report. He thankfully comes on the show once or twice a year just to fill in all the gaps, right? And it'll thankfully, if I have a question, I'll text him and he'll hook me up with info. I did not realize that the max amount Jonathan Kaminga can make next year is $30 million. Now over the entirety of his contract, he can average 35, but because of the rookie scale, and again, this is the part where you can Google, hypothetically, right? If you're trying to do research, you can Google Jonathan Kaminga rookie scale. Like, Google whatever you got to do to try to find these answers. They're not out there, man. Like,
I didn't know that.
It is.
Oh.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
I didn't either, until today.
First year base compensation would be
correct,
30 million.
and then next year it'll go, and then with each passing year he can make more and more. And then I think the final year of it, I'm guessing, is closer to 40 million. So even if, like, hypothetically you just go all out and you say, fine, Kaminga will give you 30 million, you can still, I believe, use your taxpayer. Actually, man, I don't know if you can. He's got to accept 20 to 25. I hope he does that. But yeah.
Right. Are we talking about guys that get signed with them under the second apron with that
they're going to have to be under the second apron pretty much no matter what. Yeah. Like the only way you can skirt the second apron, and look, to provide some more context here, I'm going to share the screen, and this is courtesy of Spot Track, who is a great website, but not perfect. And case in point, if you go to their website for 2025 NBA free agents, there's a lot of names missing. And I'll go on Twitter and I'll tag them like, dude, what's going on here? Like, why is, for example, DeAnthony Melton not included in your list of free agents? And just, crickets, like just nothing. So side note, if you run an organization, answer questions from your audience. Like, it's not that hard to do. And B, like, do it right. If you're going to have a website that's goal is to be informative about NBA teams and the salary cap and the rosters and so forth, make it full, make it complete. So their website is incomplete in the sense of who's available. But this, right, what you're looking at right here, if you're on YouTube, and I'll articulate this for the podcast audience, they did create an awesome visual here for who is currently on the team and how much they're making. And this is important in terms of the context for next season, what the Warriors are going to do. This, if you're watching this on YouTube right now, this page, if you can see it, lists every Warriors player who's under contract for next season. Stephen Curry is set to make $59.6 million. Jimmy Butler is set to make $54 million. Draymond Green, $25.8 million. Moses Moody, $11.5. Buddy Hield, $9.2. And side note, Buddy Hield, he has 3 more years on his deal. Brandon Podjemski, $3.6. Guy Santos, $2.2. And you notice that's in red. It's because it's not guaranteed. Trace Jackson Davis, $2.2. That should also be in red because his is not guaranteed as well. So that is right there. Is that 8 names, right? Oh, and then Quinn Post. Sorry, let me scroll this down a little bit. And then Quinn Post is your 9th player, and he's scheduled to make $1.9 million. This is your team right now. These are the Warriors for you in 2025 as currently constructed. 9 players who are under contract, and they're at $170 million. So they're already over the cap. The cap, I think, is $155 million. But as currently constructed at 170 million, the Warriors can use a mid-level exception, either the big one, which is for 14 million and change. But if you use that, you're now hard capped at the first apron, or you use the second mid-level exception. I think they call that the taxpayer exception. And that one is for 5.6 million. And if you use that, now you're hard capped at the second apron, which is for approximately $207 million. And again, the Warriors are currently at 170. So basically, if you're looking at the second apron as your cap, right, as the ceiling that you can't go above, the Warriors have realistically 37 million to play with for next season. And that's why Jonathan Kaminga, it's important for him to play a little ball with the Warriors if he's going to come back, because again, he's eligible for 30 million, but if you can convince him to take 20 or 25, it would help the team so much in terms of filling out the roster with some talent, right? So you can use some of those mid-level exceptions. Now, with all this said, this is where they're at. 9 players. You need 14 to fill it out, right? Not counting two-way players. The 10th spot is also filled right now. And that 10th spot is going to be filled with the 41st pick in the NBA draft. And that's going to be coming up in about a week and a half. And the good news for the Warriors in that regard is the 41st pick in the draft is not going to make a lot of money. So you're going to have this hopefully a talented player, someone who can contribute right away, making about the same amount of money as Quentin Post did a year ago. And Quentin Post last year ended up making, and what he's going to make this upcoming season is 1.9 million. So you can expect a similar amount for whoever the 41st pick in the draft is. And that's your 10th player. And that leaves 4 spots. All right. If you re-sign Kaminga, now that's 3 spots. And that's where we're at. So with all that said, Armando, any thoughts from your perspective? Any questions?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would want to think what they did with Klay Thompson last year is instructive here. Like, they didn't just let him go, right? Like they turned that into Buddy Hield,
correct,
and Kyle Anderson,
correct.
Like they were able to get some guys in at that kind of mid-tier level. Like, my question for you is, like, what are they constrained in doing a similar?
No. And truthfully, that's what the Jonathan Kaminga sign and trade would resemble. So if they move on from Kaminga, that's hypothetically like what you're looking at is he moves on and hopefully you get some decent talent back. And again, if he signs a max deal with the Nets, you're screwed. you're screwed, dude. Like that would be a massive mess if that happened. But yeah, they could sign it. Now, the thing is, Klay Thompson, in his situation, he was a free agent, right? So that's part of what made the sign and trade relatively easy for them. Who are you imagining besides Kaminga on the Warriors doing a sign and trade with? Anyone?
Oh, man, to me, the name, there's like a very small sliver of names that satisfy the power struggle within the Warriors. Like, the coach wants like a guard role player. I know people are talking about like a shooting big. I don't know if that's on the coach's agenda. He wants a Drew Holiday. He wants who's the other guard on the Celtics? He wants the other name. Right. Kobe White would be one example. The front office is not going to lose Jonathan Kaminga for a role player. Like, that's the power struggle that's going on. And, that's why the coach is out in the media trying to deflate the asset, because he thinks what they have is a championship team. They went 19-2 at the end of the year. They just need a role player to take them over the top. The front office is not losing their sole main asset for a role player. Like, it's got to be a name that saves face in the front office and is someone that Kerr's going to play. So there's only a few players: Norman Powell, Drew Holiday. Another name I've thought of is Aaron Gordon. Like, there's specific names that are guys Kerr will play and guys that will satisfy the front office.
And the fact that Kerr is that peculiar is why I've been advocating for 2 years now to move on. Like, I don't know how you can win with a coach like that. Like Bill Belichick adjusted his system based on the talent. And I feel like that's what a good coach is supposed to do, is not pigeonhole your team and force them into this very narrow, like one trick pony system where if that doesn't work, you're just screwed. Like it's insane to me. You're absolutely right, dude.
Well, it ain't happening now because they just promoted his son to the
Jesus
front
Christ,
to the assistant coach. So like, what are you even doing here? But anyways, but like there are a few names. That's why Kawakami is saying it's 50-50 them staying or going, because that just means they don't know what the market is. They don't the media doesn't exactly know who's willing to like shifting. So like Memphis, right? Memphis just made this big trade. They got 5 draft assets. It ain't that hard for them to create $30 million of cap space to just sign Kaminga outright. Like they now have the assets to attach, incentivize a team to help them out to get 1 or 2 guys out. Because that, like people think they're blowing it up, but that's just an example of like the movement that could take place. These things got to play out. Like we're hearing about the Heat right now. We're hearing about the Bulls for Kaminga, but those things are coming from Jonathan Kaminga's camp. Those teams want him, but like at what Warriors price? Like they're like, sure, we'll take Kaminga for the role player that Kerr wants, but is the front office really gonna take Kyle Anderson back for Jonathan Kaminga? Like that's kind of the game that's being played right now.
And I think part of it too is again that like how much Kaminga wants next season, because he probably wants that 30 million, and the Warriors, I imagine, are trying to communicate to him, we value you, we want to pay you, but we also want to win a championship next year. And if that's going to happen, we can't afford to give you 30. And so then the question is Kaminga willing to sacrifice some money next year for a bigger long-term role? And I'm sure Kaminga is aware that Kerr's days are limited, right? He could be gone in a year or two, and then this whole thing is Kaminga's and whoever is the supporting cast. Yeah, it's this. I'm fascinated to see what happens.
Can I say something about that 30 million? Like, I that's a great point. They could convince him to take early, like 25 first year, and then it rises in the back end. That's definitely something they would do.
Or like another idea I was thinking is offer him, let's say like next year they offer him 20, following year offer him like a max, right, and on top of that give him a player option.
Yeah.
After like year 2, right?
Totally
let him know, look, you can get out of this after 2 years, and then we'll give you a max, like whatever the max we can offer you at that point. Not to mention Kaminga is probably looking at that thinking, well, the salary cap's going to skyrocket here in like 2 years. Because the new media rights deal is going to kick in, and that's going to affect the salary cap. You're going to see a lot of salaries and ceilings like explode. So Kaminga is going to be eligible to make even more, provided he fulfills his potential these next 2 years. Whatever it is, that's my guess for why everything's held up. And you also have to factor in as well, like, what does Kaminga want? Like, this is the first time in his career where he has some leverage. And as I reported, about 30 minutes ago, he's not very happy. Like, he is not happy that for 4 years he's been playing for a coach who treats him like a role player. And that's never who he was from the very beginning. If that's, the Warriors, if what they wanted was a role player, you drafted the wrong dude. That's on you, man. Like, and again, I'm so happy Rick Barry on the show last week just came out and was blunt and was like, look, you're the coach. Figure it out. That's your job, man. It's just, you got to find minutes for these guys. It's ridiculous. Anyway, so
I have so many things to say about that. I mean,
please.
Things. I mean, I'll just hint. Like, one, I think there's strong evidence that Kaminga can actually be a great role player on this team. That he's actually proven he's a proven winning player on the Warriors with the starters. There's statistical evidence of that.
Yeah.
2, I think $30 million in this league. You mentioned a rising cap. Like, that's a cheap number. Like, Kawakami and Kerr have convinced everyone that that's like an expensive number. Nate Duncan is talking about he's lucky to get 25. Like the average, like Nate
Duncan doesn't know shit. Just
that's a cheap number for a 22-year-old. Players get better from 22 to 24. That's when they become who they are. It's all upside for a team. So like that number is like cheap in a rising cap situation.
Yeah.
So Joe Lacob went on Tim Kawakami's podcast last summer and said, we'd be happy to pay Kaminga 30 plus. Like, no problem. We can afford it. It's all good. Like, he's that good. We know. He said, that's a freaking quote.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, I'll just stop there before I go on. But yeah.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good. No, you're doing great. I want to bring Sasha onto the show as well. I don't want to keep her waiting any longer. Sasha, welcome to Golden Days. How are you doing?
Hey, Cy. Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. How's your night going?
Going well. Can't believe we have a game 7.
Hell yeah. And the Valkyries are playing and they're actually good. Like, it's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually in Seattle. I'm from the Bay Area, and I adopted the Seattle Storm 9 years ago when I moved here. So it's been a little tough rooting for both teams. But yeah, it's good. I want to see both teams succeed. So
how is real fast, Sasha, if you follow the Storm carefully, I don't know if you do. I don't know if you can answer this question, but they had the number 2 pick in the draft, and I think they got that as part of the Kelsey Plum trade. And they selected that center from France.
Dominique Malonga. Yeah.
Is she playing? And
Yeah.
And if yes, what are the results?
Yes, she is. We have kind of a backlog in the center position. There's Ezzy, Macabor, Neka Agumake will play center, as well as Dominique. They just got rid of the part of the Sparks trade. They got, I forgot her name. It's like Yi Liru, who they just traded to the Wings. So now Dominique is playing, and she's doing great. Love her.
I don't blame you. Yeah, good stuff. So what's in your mind for the Warriors as you toil in Seattle?
Can I ask you a question about the Valkyries?
Oh, no, Armando. Yeah, jump in. Sorry. Armando has a question. Go ahead.
Yeah. Can you educate it like this? I'm hearing a lot about the good things this coach is doing for the Valkyries. Like, are there any specific things like that they're doing in particular that are kind of innovative, or like what is the coach doing that is really pushing the Valkyries this year?
I don't think I can comment on the Valkyries as much. I'm not as close to the Valkyries as I am the Storm for WNBA. And frankly, the NBA is still going on with the finals, so I haven't gotten into it as much, but excited to get into it and just cover all of it. But yeah, so for the Warriors, I got to preface all of this with, I don't want to get rid of Kaminga. So everything I say, like, let's preface, don't want to get rid of Kaminga. Okay. I think realistic trades, let's look at teams who are interested in Kaminga, the Bulls and the Heat, teams that are looking to get off salary or potentially blowing up. So Bulls, I mean, I know we've talked enough about Kobe White. The only thing I will say, though, is maybe it's a fit thing. Maybe you put Kobe White in a locker room with a Jimmy Butler, a Steph Curry, and a Draymond Green, because obviously the talent's there. Maybe he just needs to be unlocked. And if Kerr and Kaminga are going to be on the same team, is it really going to work? Is it really going to be a fit? Obviously, we all hope so. But look at Andrew Wiggins when he came over from Minnesota. Great fit, grew. Maybe it's the same thing with Kobe White. Obviously, if you did that trade and it didn't come out into fruition, you're kind of upset about getting rid of Kaminga. So that would be my only argument on Kobe White. But I agree with you.
The biggest difference to me between Kobe White and the example you brought up, Andrew Wiggins, is Wiggins was a former number 1 pick who was underachieving with the Timberwolves. I know, huge surprise, right? Because he pretty much did the same thing here, except for that one amazing season. But he was a former number 1 pick for good reason. And they were looking to fill a void left by Kevin Durant. So when they were looking for a specific piece in this instance, it was a very clear, identifiable type of player, right? So a small forward who can also play the 4 in a small ball system. And Wiggins fit that to a T. Kobe White, look, like I'm looking him up. Like I'll be very honest about him in terms of like me and what I know. Like I don't know much about him. I know he played at North Carolina. I know he was the 7th pick in the draft for the Bulls in 2019. I know he was a bit of a slow starter in terms of reaching his potential. You might be right. I'm not sitting here saying you're wrong. It feels different. I hope you're right if that's what they end up doing. But
yeah,
those are the differences. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, and we could talk about draft selections with James Wiseman at number 2, as I'm looking at 2 guys in the starting lineup for the Indiana Pacers that we could have had instead of him. But I'll move on from that. And they were talking about Nimhard's brother, who's like barely 6 foot tall, and like the Warriors don't need him. He's going into the draft. He plays for Gonzaga. But anywho,
supposedly really good though. You're right. He's like 5'11", and so he's small. But like every indication I'm hearing is that he's one of these guys who 5 years from now, if you end up reading or seeing or hearing that he's got comps to Chris Paul, don't be surprised. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
But I would not, if I'm the Warriors, that's not who I'm picking either. I mean, that's like the last thing you need. Armando, you wanted to ask something? I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I said we just can't give Steve Kerr any more short kings to play.
Right. No, exactly. Exactly.
Problem.
That's what I said earlier. Is like you bring Kobe White in, and now all of a sudden you got a guy that they traded an asset for, and now Kobe White has to play. He's going to play next to Curry, next to Podziemski at small forward. That's putting Kobe White in a bad position, and I don't think the front office is going to do that. Like if they trade Kaminga, it's going to be for a borderline all-star at minimum. That's my read of the situation.
Yeah, I think so too. And then going to the Heat, obviously Bam and Tyler Hero are off the play. I don't think they're getting rid of him. So I'm looking at the Heat. I'm like, there's not really anyone I want. I don't want Wiggins back. We've had that experience.
You're not feeling Wiggins?
No. I mean, the two guys
I'm not either. Are you, Armando?
This is where I definitely disagree with you, Osai. I'm into Wiggins.
All right. How come?
Yeah.
Why?
That's all good.
Yeah. No, but why? I'm just curious. Like, what about him is appealing to you? Like,
it's a guy that Kerr will play at his proper position.
That's true.
That's the main thing.
Sort of. I mean, his proper position is the 2, and I think he played him there for like 2 games, ever. But right. I hear what you're saying. Like, I wouldn't hate Wiggins if he came back for nothing. I personally just would not want to give up assets for him, but that's me. All right. By the way, Sasha, you're in Seattle.
Yeah.
A city and an area that I'm very familiar with. My stepfather was pretty much from there. My family was living up there.
Yeah, they live in Fremont. I've been on here before, and you've told.
Oh yeah. Okay, so but the reason why I bring that up is the Seattle area, and bless them for this. They hate the OKC Thunder for obvious reasons.
Yes.
That city stole basketball from them. So every clip I see on social media is like, whether it's a sports bar or whatever the environment, people are rooting passionately against OKC and for the Pacers. Are you seeing that energy as well?
Correct. And I've been at those bars, and actually I'm trolling at the bars with my Kaminga jersey, and I'm just saying it's the same colors in 00 Benedict Matherin's number. So here we go. This is how I'm rooting for the Pacers.
I love the Kaminga jersey. I went to 3 Warriors games this year with a Kaminga Ignite jersey. I swear to God, I was wearing that, and Gary Payton saw me. He looked at me and he mouthed fire, and then he pulled on Jonathan Kaminga, and he looked, and they pointed at me, and Kaminga was like, "Yes, this, like I have a fan out there in Warriors land. That Kaminga is dying for us to rock his jersey."
I hope that jersey does not become a relic, dude. I really hope so. Do they still offer that plan where you can you get a refund on your jersey if the team like switches? Wasn't that a thing for a little bit? Anyways, who cares?
I don't know.
Any final thoughts, Sasha?
I know you're going to kick me off soon, so I just want to go through it quickly. But if you're looking at the Heat, which I don't love trade options, I did say Wiggins, but in my mind, I'm thinking Wiggins plays over Kaminga. If there's no Kaminga in the equation, maybe that's a different story. I do like Khalil Ware. And I like Jaime Jaquez. I mean, Jaime Jaquez, I think, had a sophomore slump last year.
And you know what? I'm glad, Sasha. I'm glad you said that, because when we did a show last week, I think, and we talked about who the Heat have as potential players in a sign and trade scenario. We mentioned Bam Adebayo as being the ideal piece. Khalil Ware, I'm not informed enough to give a strong opinion on him either way. Some people love him. Some people say that who knows, but nobody's talking about Jaime Jaquez as an asset that the Warriors can get back in a sign and trade. If, let's say, hypothetical here, let's say the sign and trade is Kaminga to the Heat, and you're getting back Wiggins, which would make Armando and some other people happy, but you're also getting back a talent like Jaime Jaquez. Is he good enough? Because I know his rookie year, he was outstanding, And then last year was a second year, right? And we saw kind of a dip, a bit of a sophomore slump, but that guy could be something special still. At least that's what I remember about him. Like, has he regressed? Does no one like him anymore? Is Jaime Jaquez a valuable enough piece where if you get him back in a sign and trade, you're happy? Sasha, any thoughts?
I mean, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see if that does happen. But those are two players that interest me. Now, Celtics, Monder said it, Drew Holiday, also Derek White. I think they're interested, and Kerr played him over Tatum, so I'm sure Kerr will play him. And then I'm curious, Naz Reid. Obviously, I've heard some tea leaves that he's been tied to potentially the Warriors. If the Warriors can get him, he's a free agent this summer. Great. I'm curious on your thoughts here, Cy, on the Memphis Grizzlies. So they traded Desmond Bane. Are they trying to blow up? Because Ja is young enough where you could still build around him. But if they're trying to blow up this team, maybe they got rid of Desmond Bane to pay Jaren Jackson Jr. Maybe that's why.
I could say this with 99, not 100, but 99% certainty. They are not blowing it up. That trade was made for a couple of reasons. One, they saw a very desperate team in the Magic willing to grossly overpay for a guy who is the third best player on a team that was the 8th seed, right? And so, like, the Grizzlies basically saw their ceiling. They saw what at best they can do with the current roster, 8th seed. That's not going to, who cares about an 8th seed? That doesn't mean much. So they found a team that gave back a massive gift basket of draft picks, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and so forth. But what people forget about the Grizzlies too is they have talent waiting in the wings who play almost the exact same position as Desmond Bane. Jalen Wells. I know Scottie Pippen Jr. is more of a point guard, but they have pieces in play. Santi Aldama, a guy, a restricted free agent who they want to bring back. Different position, but you get what I'm saying here. They have a very deep team. They have a lot of players. And I think this is good news for the Warriors because to me, if Ja Morant is your centerpiece, and if you're building a team around Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr., you ain't going to be doing jack shit. And that is great news for the Dubs. Like that is one less team potentially, if I'm not wrong, to worry about. But they're not going to blow it up. This was a move mostly to free up some space and get assets.
That was my thought. And then JJJ obviously is a player that intrigues me. Michigan State, the Draymond Green connection. But I don't see him. I'm curious on your thoughts. I don't see him as a true 5. I see him as a 4. And I get worried of bringing more 4s on this Golden State Warriors team with Draymond Green because that's just, unless Draymond Green and Kerr are going to taper down his minutes, it's likely not a good thing. And then the last thing I will say here, Cy, the last one. So
no, you're killing it. You know your shit. Good. Yeah.
On these X, as you said, don't listen to X. These random trades that are out there.
Just do follow up research. Don't just read something on Twitter and go, oh my God, really? Like I just looked up the Quinn post. There is nothing in the news that indicates that the team is committed to him to be the starter next year. Please don't trust what's on any social media, anything. Like no, even if it's on the internet. Dude, make sure there are secondary and third sources, or at a bare minimum, make sure you know the source itself is credible. Don't trust that.
Yeah, I just like to troll. I love to troll these like trades that it's like, why would that team ever do that? But I did see one that was interesting. And I was like, that I may trade Kaminga for. And I'm curious if you guys would do the same.
Yeah, who?
I saw a trade for Kaminga for Daniel Gafford and Max Christie. Dallas would never do it. But I was like, if I gave
What do you think Dallas would do that? No. Actually, I'm going to say, I don't know if the Warriors would do that. The Mavericks would happily move on from Gafford between the money you're owed to him, the log jam at that front court that they already have. Derek Lively's waiting to play. You got Anthony Davis. I don't think the issue would be the Mavericks saying no. I think if the Warriors came to him with that proposal, they would pounce on that. My bigger question is Max Christie worth it? Like, I don't know what his ceiling is, but that's the wild card. Yeah. Armando, would you do that trade? I mean, it's making me like contemplate a little bit, but I don't know. What do you think?
There's no chance the Warriors do that trade for Kaminga. It's got to be a borderline all-star.
And again, that's with the Max Christie part of it. I don't know what his ceiling is, but
if I'm the Mavs, definitely do that.
And all right. Well, Sasha, you definitely know your
thanks.
shit. What are you in Seattle because you got priced out like most of the Bay Area clan?
No, but and looking to move back potentially. But I'm here for now. I bought a house here like 5 years ago, so I'm here
Congratulations.
for now. But yeah, I love the Bay. I'll be there this weekend. Hope to catch a Valkyries game next time I'm in town.
Sunday. I think that's when they're on a homestand right now. I think they play Sunday next. And I asked that, Sasha, because literally I'm born and raised in the Bay Area, and like 95% of my friends are gone. And a lot of them went to Seattle and the Portland area because they got priced out here. So that's why I asked that randomly. Anyways.
Yeah, you and I talked about this. I went to high school and junior high and elementary school in Newark, California, and a lot of people I went to school with. Yeah, a lot of people I went to school with, all of our parents went to school together, and then now I'm seeing everyone who I went to school, it was like generation over generation of kids growing up together. Everyone's been priced out. No one's there. They're all in Stockton or Manteca or, in the Valley somewhere. So it is sad to see.
Gotcha. But, and Armando found this story, which I think explains why some people believe that Quinton Post is going to be the starter. It is wild to me how Tim Kawakami can just say something and you suddenly have all these media organizations running with it like it's a fact. Tim Kawakami literally just said on a podcast that I think they're going to try to lean on Quinton Post next year. And from that one quote, now you have people writing stories that he might be the starter. I mean, he might. I don't know. Armando, is that the impression you got as well?
I think it's coming from Kerr telling Kawakami that if they keep Kaminga next year, that's the starting lineup he would roll with. Like the first 10 games in the season, he's going to give Kaminga a shot. And, that would require Quinton Post being at center in those starting lineups. I think that's where that's coming from. It was an offhand remark. Yeah, because you would need the shooting, supposedly.
I mean, I don't
here, but quick comment. I don't like Kawakami. He's the worst. Warriors coverage, by the way. I'm hopping off though.
Sasha, with the Heat trade that you were talking about, would you, like as a fan, would you like the kind of guy that I think the coaching staff, like they'd want a Davion Mitchell and Duncan Robinson exchange for Kaminga. Like they'd want to fill out the role players with that. How would you feel about that?
Oh, I like that. You get shooting, you get defense, you get players Kerr would play. I do
Davion
like
Mitchell could still be a great player in this league. I don't know if Miami would give him up though. But in a Kaminga trade, I guess they would. Never mind.
I mean, we're seeing two teams in the finals right now that are super deep. I don't think you get rid of those 3-and-D guys. I don't think these teams are going to do it. Now you're seeing like depth is more important than having 2 to 3 superstars. So I just don't. It's going to be an interesting offseason because I just don't see how very many teams are going to get off these good role players.
You're absolutely right. This offseason is going to be so interesting. I cannot wait for it to start. They call me crazy in the chat adds a hell no to Jaime Jaquez, saying he's already 24. He regressed a lot. Again, that's where I don't know if the sophomore slump thing was a factor, and maybe the sophomore slump is just a phrase that means absolutely nothing. Who knows? But I thought he was taller than 6'6". Anyways, a hell no from they call me crazy. So.
What's the difference between Jaime Jaquez and Guy Santos?
Say again, they're the same size. Is that what you said?
What's the difference?
Good point. I think they're pretty much the same. And that's I almost feel like that's a compliment for Jaime. I mean, I love Guy Santos.
Jaime was a starter on a playoff team, and Guy wasn't.
That's a good. Yeah, there you go. That's a good point too.
Anywho, thanks for having me, Cy. I'm topping off now. Appreciate it.
Have a good night, Sasha. Thank you as always. She killed it. That was one of the that's how you do it when you jump on a show. That was bravo, Sasha. You definitely know your shit. Are we ready to start naming names?
Man, let's do it.
We're only an hour 20 into the show. We haven't even spilled one name yet. That's how we're rolling. All right, Armando, if you don't mind, I'm just gonna start spitting names that I like. All right, these are names that are free agents. We're going way too late here. I'll do another show for like trade possibilities because I have that list too. But that's it
I
would take
did want
forever.
to hit you with 2 Kaminga stats that
Send
I
it.
think the rest of the
Shoot.
league is
Bring
following.
it
But whenever you want, I'll give
now.
it to
Let's
you.
do it now.
Dude,
Shoot,
okay.
yeah.
So like you got a coach saying this dude is a loser, not a winning player. Like the rest of the league is looking at 2 moments in the last 3 years. So Kaminga's second year, the end of the second year, so their title defense year. Okay. This is the year they still have Jordan Poole, right? Their title defense. Wiggins is out of the lineup most of the year. Okay. The end of the year, they play 11 games. Okay. They're like out of the playoffs. They're not going to make it. They're a loser team. I think they're like 500 ball. They go 8-3 with Kaminga playing 24 minutes a game. Okay. He's just a role player. Like he's first off the bench. He's plays big minute, just 24 minutes with these guys. He averages 14 points a game, 63% from field goal percentages, 50% from 3, making 1.2.7 threes a game, 70% effective field goal percentage. All right. 4 rebounds a game. And they went 8-3. Okay.
What happened in those 11 games? Was Anthony Lamb hurt or
it was
that
just
was that year too?
the coach got desperate and he just played and he played him and he played with Steph Curry and he played with Draymond Green and they made the playoffs. And this was the year, I don't know if everybody remembers, but game 1 against the Kings in round 1, Kaminga like doesn't go for a rebound, so he gets benched the rest of the playoffs. They go to that 7-game series. They almost die going, like that was like the thing. The second one I want to talk about, and this actually surprised me because I remember it being smaller, but his third season, the very next year, this is Clay's last year, Poole's gone. They bring in Chris Paul.
Oh God.
Right. Remember all that? Okay. The first
awful memories, but yeah, go ahead. Sorry. Yeah.
But it's important because other teams like Miami knows this. Like people aren't like stupid. They're not just listening to what Kerr's saying. They're like actually looking at what happened.
Yes.
And they go 500 ball the first half of the season. They're 19, and then they dip below. They're 19-24. Okay, going into early February, they're like loser team, 10th seed. They're out, right? They go into the Lakers. It's a double overtime game. Kaminga gets the start, and they start an 8-2 run that turns into a 19-11 run to close out the season with Kaminga starting. He starts over 30 games to end his third year. He brings them out. They make the play-in game. He averages 19 points a game, 52% shooting, 32% from 3, 54 effective field goal percentage, which if you span that out over a whole year, that's in the top 8 all time of forwards who averaged over 30 points and over 10 points. 77% from free throw, 5 rebounds a game. And they go 19-11. He's playing that's the one time Steve Kerr plays him with Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Andrew Wiggins. He actually played. Those are the 2 times he played him with the best players. We actually got run, and they win. Every other time they played, it's been loser ball. And I want to highlight one more
thing. They played the Kings in that play-in game, and then that's where Clay goes 0-10, but Kaminga's pretty much rotting on the bench and after that game, by the way, which goes to show that Steve Kerr has never been consistent. Half the time, I don't think he knows what he's doing. After that game was when he was quoted as saying, in hindsight, I made a mistake of not playing Kaminga. And then he does the same shit again the very next year. It's insanity.
I want to highlight one more point about that.
Please.
That start of that, after that Warriors game, they go 19-11, but they go the first 8-2. March 3rd, I think it's February 3rd or March 3rd, I can't remember. Steve Kerr gets his contract extension. And the reason he got that at that point, it was reading between the lines on Anthony Slater reports, is that he was willing to bench Klay Thompson and allow JK some run. He got starting, and he got that contract extension at that time. And shortly thereafter, he benches Kaminga. And that was the moment when he suddenly decided Trace Jackson Davis needed to be starting. They won a few games against terrible teams, and Kaminga was out the lineup. And I just want to say, like, this is the kind of stuff that if Warriors fans ignore it, that's fine. But other teams are not ignoring it. The agents know it. Like, the league is smart. They know this is a 22-year-old guy. Players get better from 22 to 24. That's who they are. It's all 100% upside. This is exactly the kind of guy you gamble on if you're another team. Everything you're hearing about him teams not being into him, it's just smokescreen. Nobody's going to say they're dying to get him because they want him on the cheap. Trade value wise, they're willing to pay the money. So I think people need to take a step back and reframe this dude's value. Our front office knows that. They're not trading him for some role player like Kobe White. They're trading him for what he's worth, which is these two stretches that I'm talking about. Oh, you're muted, Si.
Yeah, sorry, I just noticed that. Thank you. No, and Kobe White might be part of a deal, but he's not going to be the only piece. You're absolutely right. The Warriors front office is smart enough to know Kaminga's value. I'm going to bring on, hopefully soon, this guy, Swish Culture, who prefers anonymity, but he has a pretty popular YouTube channel. And we've been messaging because I feel like we're both on the same page in regards to a lot of stuff, hoops-wise. And he mentioned to me that, just like what you said, there's no one who's a former player, former coach, anybody who actually generally knows hoops and has experience, a background in this. None of them are criticizing Kaminga. Like you're not hearing from anybody who actually has a background in NBA basketball. You're not hearing criticism from anybody who actually played the game, coached the game, that Kaminga is a bad player, that Kaminga is missing whatever it is that Steve Kerr did not see. Nobody else is missing that, but except for Kerr. And side note, I hope to get I always forget his name, Swish Culture. I hope to get him on the show soon to break it down, because he makes some good stuff on YouTube, content wise. Anyways, I think you're absolutely right. And thankfully, the Warriors front office is also cognizant of Kaminga's value. And I think ultimately, side note, Shardal, thank you for the compliments, brother. I can't thank you enough. Thank you for the donation. You're I don't know how to handle compliments, so thank you so much. It means the world. Yeah, man, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. And you're right, he has tremendous value, and it's a huge reason why when we talk about all these trade scenarios, like I expect a lot back, because you can get a lot back. He is a talent who's very young. We just haven't seen the potential yet. Are you ready for names?
Yep, let's do it.
All right. And Shardal wanted me to actually read the super chat that he dropped the $1.99 for out loud. Shardal says, "I'm the GOAT on YouTube, and I'm a great guy." Thank you, sir. Thanks, Shardal. It means the world, man. I don't know what to say when people are nice to me. I get all weird. But thank you, man. It means
You're
the world.
A great guy, Si. You are a great guy.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. I feel like all any of us can do is just try, right? Like, I made a promise to myself early that if I ever got to a position in life where I actually had power, right? Meaning like my decisions would affect other people in a serious way, that I would never in any regard abuse it. And so when I first became a professor, and you relate to this as well as anyone, like you have some real power there in terms of your influence over these young adults. And maybe more importantly, the grades you issue, dude, they matter. They'll follow you for the rest of your life. And, so I think for teachers out there, for anyone in a position of power, just try to remember that you're a human being and that your decisions can affect other people, and don't be a dick. Like, don't make decisions that are going to ruin someone else's day or life. Just try to be a good person, man. Just try. That's all anyone can do in this world. If you want to be a good person, just do it. Just be aware of the other people in this world around you. Be aware of what your actions can do in terms of cause and effect. And thank you, man. I thank you. I don't know what to say beyond that. Are we ready to name names?
Let's do it.
All right. I have now, thankfully, the NBA and their website, more specifically, NBA.com. This is where I got the list from because that's the only resource I found that has every free agent. And they thankfully list their availability. I'm going to skip restricted free agents because I feel like the Warriors are not going to be in a position of strength in that regard. They can't offer big money. You need to offer big money if you're going to actually steal a restricted free agent away from someone else. The only time I'm going to mention a restricted free agent is if the Warriors can play the role of a spoiler, meaning a couple years ago, the San Antonio Spurs, I'll never understand why they did not do this. They had a chance to offer Austin Reeves a lot of money and force the Lakers to either match, and that would have put them in salary cap hell, or you end up with Austin Reeves, who's a pretty damn good player. And the Spurs at that point had all this cap room. They had nothing to lose, and they did not make that offer. I'll never understand why they did not. They were one of the only teams in the NBA in a position to do something like that. And they just sat back and just let Austin Reeves get this ridiculously cheap deal from the Lakers because no one else was competing with the Lakers to sign him. And the Warriors, I bring that up because the Warriors could, in theory, play a similar spoiler type role. So if I see a player like that, I'll bring it up. Otherwise, here we go. These are names. I'll go 5 at a time. Is that cool with you? I think that's the best way to get through this without being exhausted. So we'll go 5 at a time. These are free agents who I think could fit in the Warriors system and could fit salary-wise, and we'll see what happens. Side note, the NBA has Steven Adams on here because legally, technically, he's still an unrestricted free agent, but I read a story the other day that he's coming back to the Rockets. So, and I know that's a name that a lot of Warriors fans are looking at as a potential good addition. I was not disagreeing with that, but he's no longer available. So here we go. First up, Precious Achiuwa, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Taron Armstrong. I will bring him up just because I'm curious to know if you have any thoughts on him. Marvin Bagley III, who would be very cheap. And I don't know if he's going to be available. I don't know if he's going to want to stay with the Clippers, but I'll mention his name anyways because he is an unrestricted free agent, and that is Nicholas Batum. Any thoughts there?
So what about these guys is appealing to you in terms of size, position?
These are not. Should I just stick to this players I actually want? Let's do that.
I think so.
I don't want any of those guys. I'll just throw those names out there to see if you'd want them. The only name on that list that actually that moves the needle for me a little bit would be Nickeil Alexander-Walker, but that is a redundancy. Yeah. That's not necessarily a player the Warriors need. Marvin Bagley does not excite me. I think he would come for cheap. If you can get him for a veteran minimum, I wouldn't hate that. But okay, so we'll move on. So these are players that I actually would like on the Warriors. First up, Bull. If he's cheap, sign me up. I'm all in. I'm a new Bulls son. Length, he's grossly underrated in terms of an offensive skill set. I think he could fit Steve Kerr's system. How do you like it, Armando?
I love it. I mean, take a flyer on it. I mean, every other team has. I don't know exactly why he can't get run on. What was he on Phoenix last year? Make it happen. Why not? What's the alternative that they have? Like,
dude, Bull. I have no clue what the budget is. Like, I don't know if Bull's going to come for cheap. I would love him, man. I think he's the kind of guy that would fit great with the Warriors on a very cheap deal if he's available for that. By the way, Raceland Mahiri, if I'm pronouncing that right, Majiri is asking, why was Jonathan Kaminga not even in the lineup at the end of the season? So just to expand on this a little bit, so I can read what you're trying to ask correctly. He's asked, this individual is wondering, why did Jonathan Kaminga get DNP the final 3 games of the season? Side note, they lost 2 of those 3 games to the Clippers and to the Spurs. And then he got DNP'd for the Rockets series until Jimmy Butler got injured. And then Steve Kerr magically then realized, he fits. And again, the answer to that drove me insane, almost literally. It was entirely because Steve Kerr just did not think he fit. In Steve Kerr's mind, he did not think that Jonathan Kaminga, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green together on the floor provided enough offensive spacing for Stephen Curry. Is that probably is that the most accurate answer I could give, Armando? Anything?
Yeah, I think there's a more beneficial reading of it. Like, but I agree with you. Like, I think
what's the more beneficial reading?
Yeah, it would be, Kaminga was coming back from injury. He wasn't quite right. He didn't have the same speed around the corner. He wasn't caught up to, so he wasn't ready to play in big games. And like Kerr was protecting him. That's the story Kerr's going with now, by the way. That's what he's telling people now. But no, like, that's not right at all. Like, what are you doing, man? This is like, you need to play your best players. Like, you feel me? Like, it's not rocket science. Like, I don't even know what other sport you get away with not playing your best players.
Insane.
It's insane. One thing that tripped me out about the Valkyries tonight that made me think of Jonathan Kaminga, these like expansion draft players are knocking down threes. That tells you like basketball players can knock down threes. They can hit shots when they get a green light, when a team believes in them, when a team invests in them, and they're not looking over their shoulders, ready to get, if I make the shot, it's a good shot. If I miss the shot, it's a bad shot. That kind of mentality, like that made me think of Kaminga when I was watching the Warriors tonight. Like,
good point. Yeah, you're absolutely right. People can develop and grow, especially with certain skill sets that maybe they're not. There is a lack of notoriety for that. I think LeBron James is a great example of that too. He was not a three-point shooter early in his career. He was not an outside shooter. He was not known for that. He wasn't great at it. And by the end of his career, besides being the all-time leading scorer, he's actually a damn good three-point shooter now. Jason Kidd was another one who early in his career was not a three-point shooter, but he ended up being one of the most prolific three-point shooters in NBA history. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Players can work on certain skills that they're not good at early in their careers and actually become exceptional at them. I think Aaron Gordon is another example. He was not a three-point shooter for his entire career. Now he's become one of the most lethal NBA players in the game because you can't leave him out there anymore. So if you actually go out there to guard Aaron Gordon, he's just going to blow by you and score. If you play back like Draymond Green does, he's going to burn you with threes. Aaron Gordon has suddenly become one of the most important basketball players in the NBA. It's crazy.
40%.
Yeah, and he did not have that three-point shot early in his career.
We have 70 years of NBA history telling us that green light matters for how players shoot. Like, absolutely. This happened with Jordan Poole. Like, as soon as you get a runway, you're going to start knocking down shots. There was 2 shots against Minnesota at the end of game 5 in the playoffs where Kaminga took a step back fadeaway 3. He took 2 of them, and that thing hit the bottom of the net, no rim. That thing was ice through the net. And like, to me, that's like, I'm shooting clutch shots and I have to shoot it. My team needs me to shoot. No pressure.
Yeah.
Kaminga has ice in his veins. If I'm looking, that's what I'm looking at if I'm another GM Dunleavy.
You and I are on the same page. We both we see why Jonathan Kaminga has value in the NBA. It's sad his own head coach doesn't see it. One person in the chat, where is this right here? I want to highlight it real fast. Rich Dub wrote that Bol may have motor question. You might be right on that. Again, we're talking about players who you can steal for basically $4 or $5 million. That's the gist of this. It's called the taxpayer mid-level exception. It's good for $5.6 million.
Can Bol
approximately? This is the range I'm looking at. What's up?
Would Bol force the coach Kerr to bench Looney? That's if we're looking at
is Looney coming back?
That's what I'm saying. Like, can we get a $4 or $5 million player at that position where they feel like they don't need to re-sign Looney?
We'll find out.
That's what I want.
We'll find out. You're right. That is one of many questions the Warriors have to face this offseason. Kevon Looney re-signing him. He made $8 million last year. Gary Payton II, Steve Kerr's crutch, also made over $8 million last year. Who knows what their market is? I think that's going to play a huge role as well. I don't think the Warriors are going to offer either of those guys anything above the minimum. That would be my guess. So then it comes down to, okay, is there a market for these guys where they can make more somewhere else? If the answer to that is no, you're probably going to see him again. If they do get offers elsewhere for more than the minimum, they're probably gone. Yeah, I could care less if either of those guys. No, again, this is not personal. Please don't ever equate me saying that I don't care if a player is on the Warriors anymore with I hate this person. Look, it's just this is a business. It's reality. Every year it changes. Players come and go. And Kevon Looney, I have the utmost respect for everything he's done for this organization. He's been on this show. I love him. But if he wants more than the veteran minimum, nice to anybody, yeah.
I would love for Kevon Looney to retire a Warrior. However,
yeah,
people are not talking about the fact that Trace Jackson Davis was DNP'd for half the damn season. And so for whatever reason, it was leaked that the coaching staff thought he wasn't finishing well. Like, dude, look at Obi Toppin in the Pacers Eastern Conference Finals and the finals. Like, just play your athletes. Like, it don't matter if they fit. Dude got iced for half the season, and he comes in the Minnesota series and puts it to them. Like, play this guy. To me, Kevon Looney's a problem because the coach is playing him over better players.
Yeah.
They're playing him over guys that'll make this work. That's the issue. It's not him.
Jamie U22 mentions in the chat, I trade Steve Kerr for a bag of biscuits. And I highlight that not just because it's funny, but it reminded me of another point that I wanted to bring up on the program. The New York Knicks have been soliciting other NBA teams for their head coaches, right? Like they reached out to the Rockets for Ime Udoka. The Rockets were like, hell no. They reached out to I believe the Minnesota Timberwolves to contact Chris Finch. Hell no. They're not calling the Warriors. Like, I don't see the Knicks reaching out to Golden State offering trade, because if you can get back a first round pick for Steve Kerr, dude, where can I sign? Like, give me that trade yesterday, but you're not seeing that, because in the same way, like you said, talking about Jonathan Kaminga's value and how other teams view him, I think you could say the exact same thing, only in reverse about Steve Kerr and how other teams.
You know who they should try to trade for the Valkyries coach is who the Knicks should trade for.
Yeah, Natalie, dude, Coach Nikase, bravo. I know you're saying that facetiously, but.
No, I'm not.
All kidding aside, yeah, if she ended up becoming the head coach of the Warriors, I know that it's a small sample size so far, but she knows her shit, dude.
My brother was telling me the other day the biggest problem with the Valkyries is that the coach is too damn good. Because they got to get.
That was the Nets problem last year, right? With what was his name, Jordy Fernandez, their head coach. Like he's a good coach too, and the Nets wanted to tank, dude, but he got his players playing hard, and
so
yeah,
the Warriors and the Valkyries need to exchange coaches, right? We need Coach Kerr on the Valkyries for a tanking mission, and we need the coach of the Valkyries on the Warriors for a winning mission.
My only pushback to that is I don't know if I dislike the Valkyries enough to do that to them, but I hear what you're saying. And yeah, Kerr Porter, we talked already about Nick Ulis Kerr. Being a member of the coaching staff. Yeah, nepotism going strong in NBA basketball. And Jamie 22 bring that up. All right, so we got one name in there in terms of the wish list, Bowl. There's a lot of other ones, and I'm going in alphabetical order here. Next up is a player that someone in the chat mentioned, and this would, again, I don't know what the price is. He might be available for cheap. He's a former Warrior. I'm talking about Chris Boucher. Is it Boucher or Boucher? It's spelled Boucher, but I think it's Boucher. If the Warriors can get him, Chris Boucher, for cheap, brother, like that's your starting center. That is someone who can, especially defensively, is long, athletic. He's got touch around the basket offensively. Sign me up. How do you feel about Chris Boucher?
I love it.
Me too. Shardall, thank you, brother. I'm seeing all the positivity in the chat tonight. Thank you so much. Yeah, Chris Boucher, please, if he's available, I'm all in. I don't know if he will be available for cheap, but if he is, high on my list. He is on my wish list. So moving on. Bruce Brown is next on my list. Bruce Brown is a pit bull of a basketball player. I know he's a guard. I get it. And part of the reason why Bruce Brown is so appealing to me is because even though he's a guard, he can body up bigger players. And in a Steve Kerr system where Kerr has no respect for height, length.
Where is this guy at? This guy's a killer.
Bruce Brown?
Bruce Brown. Yep.
Unrestricted free agent. He is just available.
Where was he last year?
He was on Toronto and then got traded, I think, to the Pelicans, and that's where he ended up. Look, Bruce Brown got a big deal. He earned it. He was a role player, but the Nuggets won a championship. He got a big contract out of that, and the Raptors learned right away Bruce Brown is not a starter. Like, that is not what you bring him in for. Bruce Brown is the pit bull. You unleash. You bring him off the bench. He makes big buckets. Pressure does not bother him. He's a great defender. And he's a hell of a lot better than Brandon Podziemski.
Sorry, this is a good call. This is a good call. Like, and this is why I got so frustrated throughout the year with all the investment in Brandon Podziemski. Like, yeah, okay, we can. This guy's great. He's a great dribbler. Like, we really need him in there. But these guys come dime a dozen. There's hella players in the league that can dribble the ball into an offense and set guys up and play defense and like rebound well for their position. Like, you just brought up a guy who did that on a deep playoff run. You know, that he's part of the reason the Nuggets have fallen apart. You know, him leaving, right? And along with KCP, like, that's exactly the kind of guy you want to target if you're trying to win the championship.
100%. Now, I'm going to give you a series of names here. All right, I'm going to give you like 4 or 5 names here because all of these names could possibly be available for cheap. They're all unrestricted free agents. Some of these are sexier than others. There's about 4 or 5 names I'm going to drop on you right now. Let me know what you think. Amir Coffey, I think, would be excellent on the Golden State Warriors. Torrey Craig, Jay Crowder, and he, look, if you tell me he's cooked, I get it. I'm not advocating hard for Jay Crowder, but I remember what he was, and if there's still anything left there for the veteran minimum, sign me up. Seth Curry. I don't know. I don't know if I'm the only person on the planet who just loves the idea of the two brothers reuniting. I remember them playing together, and it worked out. Seth is a grossly underrated basketball player, terrific shooter, terrific ball handler. I want him in a Warriors uniform. So any thoughts on any of those names?
How old is Seth Curry now? That's an interesting.
That's a good question. I think he's 32 or 33. Let me look it up.
This is saying 34 years old now.
Oh, 34. They're even older.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's a good.
We're talking about bargain deals, right?
Yeah, it's a name. It's a name that I see Kerr playing appropriately. So, like, 15 minutes a game off the bench, exactly the role he should be. Not playing at small forward. I love the Amir Coffey.
Dude,
he's right, like 6'7". You know, like he wasn't getting much run. He's 28 years old.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
By the way, Tim Hardaway was on the show the other day, and I bring his name up not just to promote that because that was an awesome booking, but yeah, and huge thanks to Tim. He's going to come back on the show soon. He had a good time, and that's half the battle, especially when you're doing first or second time interviews with someone. You're trying to make an impression, right? So they come back. So Tim's going to come back soon. But I bring his name up because he let something slip in his interview with me, which is available on our YouTube channel, on podcasts. However you get this show, it's available. I think Tim Hardaway Jr. is going to the Miami Heat. And for them, that's a hell of a fit because I brought his son's name up because he kills the Warriors every time he plays them. He always steps up his game against Golden State. I wouldn't hate him on the Warriors either. He is an unrestricted free agent. I have no clue what the price would be for Hardaway Jr., but what do you think about him?
I love Tim Hardaway. He was great when he was getting run. He got injured because he started getting played too much. He played so well that he became like a 35-minute plus guy, and then he got hurt. You know, appropriately cast at the right contract. That guy's a winner. I've always loved him. He's a killer. Yeah.
Is Eric Gordon too old?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, so he's out of the list. All right.
These role players got to be young. I mean, if you think about the core of the line, like 31, 32 is pushing it, honestly.
What are your thoughts on Talen Horton-Tucker? He looks 35. He's really 25, or I think he's actually 24. But he's got a hell of a skill set. He's not small. I know he's not a big, but any thoughts there?
Yeah.
Does it excite you? That's all good. All good.
Yeah.
All good.
Brown, it's a little heavy, that guy. Pushing him like 240, man.
I saw a report, by the way, that the Warriors want to bring Kevin Knox back. Does that news excite you? Like, would you?
Oh yeah, I love Kevin Knox, man. Anybody 6'7" that could hit a three, just that. Honestly, the whole roster should be that at this juncture. Just like there should be one
Jamie
guard. On the Warriors.
U22, you're on fire tonight. I don't remember you being in the chat before, so if you're new, welcome, and your contributions are encouraged. Saying, quote in the chat, Taylor Horton Tucker is a fat Jonathan Kaminga. That's well put. Well put. So anyways, so moving on
that guy
from Taylor Horton Tucker.
Mm-hmm.
A few other names. I want to say Luke Cornett, but something tells me he's going to be too expensive. Is Karis LeVert going to be too expensive for the Warriors?
Where's he at?
He got traded from Cleveland to Atlanta.
Yeah,
and I'm guessing they're going to bring him back, but I would love him, dude.
Oh, he would be great. 6'6", shooting guard. He was 12 points a game last year.
He would be awesome.
Yeah,
this is the name that has been linked to the Warriors. We've mentioned him on the show before. I just don't know what the price tag's going to be, but if you can get him, all good. And that's Brook Lopez. He could be a mentor to Quentin Post, right? He is Quentin Post, except he's bigger and better. And I know he's old, but you're realistically going to play this guy 15, 20 minutes a night, 60 games. I think he can hold up for that. He would fit the system perfectly. Your thoughts?
I like it.
I know you don't like the old guys, but
I like it at the minimum. Anything more, salary and playing time are related. That's what I'm gonna say. So
fair. Trey Lyles.
Yeah.
If he's not going to come back to the Kings, me want. What about you? Do you like him or no?
Trey Lyles. I'm not too up on that guy.
Backup. He's a power forward. I guess that would be his position. I don't know how else to describe him. He's a good scorer. Reminds me of Brandon Clark a little bit of the Memphis Grizzlies. Similar in that regard. Rich Dub brings up Imani Bates. Wouldn't hate that either. Would not hate that. But
Imani Bates, yeah.
But Trey Lyles, I would like him on the Warriors if that's a possibility. We mentioned DeAnthony Melton. Again, I don't know how much money he's going to be commanding. And this is where the Warriors are in a beneficial position because the salary cap has not gone up yet from the media rights deal being adjusted. That's going to come in a year or two. Most teams in the NBA this season are not going to have money to spend. So the Warriors might be in a beneficial position where they can potentially have players available for very low cost. DeAnthony Melton was a borderline perfect fit for the Warriors. The biggest concern was one that we highlighted repeatedly on the show when the news first broke that the Warriors signed him, which was durability. He has not shown that he can survive and play the long game in the NBA. He gets hurt a lot, but when he plays, the kid can play. He is talented. If you can bring DeAnthony Melton back and you can kind of reduce his role a little bit so the burden is not as heavy on him, maybe have him and Brandon Pajemski kind of split time and their roles. And this way you also diminish Pajemski's role a little bit. Sign me up, man. Are you big on the DeAnthony Melton idea, or are you not as excited as I am? Because I would love Melton.
I think it's great in principle. I think there's serious concerns about his health are still,
But what if you can get him for, let's say, $3 million and the expectation is 20 minutes a game?
Mm-hmm. Totally. That'd be fantastic. Anybody that could push Brandon Pajemski to justify the role he's been given.
I like that. People have brought up Larry Nance Jr. I would also love that. I don't know if he's going to be affordable. If he is, the energy he'd bring, the spacing he'd bring, because I think he can shoot the three as well for a big. Sign me up. I've always loved his game. Every time he plays the Warriors, he just wrecks havoc. He has great games against the Dubs. Sign me up for Larry Nance Jr. That's another one that I really like.
I like that. Imani Bates, that was a good call. I think that's a name. 6'8".
Yeah, he's a good player. If you can afford him, that would be a good move, I think. Here's a weird one. I've always been in the vast minority of the Warriors contingent with this player in terms of not hating him like a lot of people do. I just think you have to use him right. But if you can get him for dirt cheap, I don't hate it. And that's Kelly Oubre Jr. Very divisive, polarizing. I get it. If you look at me and go, "What the hell are you talking about?" But he is 6'8". He's not a terrible 3-point shooter. I know he's wildly inconsistent, but if you're signing someone for 15 minutes off the bench, if he's not starting, I don't hate it. Do you hate it?
Yeah, I don't hate it at all. He's he's a Kirk casualty.
Big time, dude. Yeah, big. And I'm not saying you're singing his praises. Like, I don't think he's like this great player, but I don't think he's as bad as people make him out to be. I know Bobby Portis has been linked to the Warriors. I would love him on the Warriors, but I also want to convey the message to not get your hopes up that Bobby Portis is going to come to the Warriors. I have no idea why NBC Sports Bay Area on 2 separate occasions have published stories on their website where it states that Bobby Portis turned down a $3.8 million player option for this year. His player option was for $13.5 million. And he turned that down because he's turning 30 this year, or he is 30, and he wants one more big deal before his value diminishes. And I don't think the Warriors have a chance in hell of signing Bobby Portis. So I would love him. I just don't think the affordability factor plays well into the Warriors' hands. Your thoughts?
I think he wants to be on the Warriors. I think that's what's going on. It's his
Interesting.
Camp. Yeah.
What do you think that from that one interview, or have you heard?
Yeah, it's been like over the years, the love affair between. It's to me, it's just reading between the lines. Is coming out of his camp. I think the Warriors like him too, but it's an asset issue. Like Milwaukee, it's scarce their assets. Like they're gonna need something back for that. It's not gonna just be a free for all. That's my read of that situation.
Yeah. I don't think the Warriors can afford this guy either. If they can, I would love him. And that's Taurean Prince, who also played for the Bucks last year. Fantastic 3-point shooter. He's on my wish list. I don't know if he's affordable. Though.
Man, you're bringing up all these wings. This is great stuff, man. Like,
yeah. Well, this next one's not a wing, but I also don't know if he's going to be available or affordable is the better word. And that's Naz Reid. Again, he's been linked to the Warriors for a while now. I don't think Minnesota is going to give him up. That's my guess. I think they're going to lock him down for a big deal, but Naz Reid would be fantastic. Your thoughts?
Oh man, Naz Reid is the man. I'm like one of Naz Reid's biggest fans, dude. That guy's a killer.
Yeah, he is. Dude.
Honestly, spread the floor. That guy could guard. He's just not. He looks a little funky because he's not being played correctly in the right system. But I think any team would die to have that guy. There's no way they're losing that guy. You cannot lose Naz Reid if you're.
Yeah, he would be great in a Warriors uniform. I just don't know how realistic that is. This next name I think is tops. He's the guy I want the most. Are you ready for this one?
Mm-hmm.
D'Angelo Russell.
Oh, really?
I'm kidding. I'm teasing. I'm not. Do you really want him?
I was like shocked. I was shocked to even that name to enter my cranium.
Dude, I don't know. What do you think he's going to get this offseason? Because he's an unrestricted free agent, and I don't know if anybody would want him. Maybe they do. I don't know. Like he's out there. If anyone's interested.
I don't see it. Maybe the Wizards, just something.
Wizards.
Like a backup point guard to Wemby.
What a backcourt that is. You've got D'Angelo Russell and Jordan Poole sharing a backcourt together. Oof. I'm sure that's going to delight all the Wizards season ticket holders. Is Ben Simmons someone who Steve Kerr can flip and make something out of?
Oh, okay. Ben Simmons is the man. They should definitely sign Ben Simmons for a backup center. I would love that. I think that's a hidden gem as a backup center. Whether Steve Kerr is going to play him, no, I don't think so.
Well, I'm glad you said that because I feel like Ben Simmons is a perfect example of where good coaching can be highlighted. Like Ty Lue was playing Ben Simmons in the exact role you said, backup center. That is his value. Mm-hmm. As a backup center, he's not a bad defender. He can handle the ball. So you essentially have a point guard who plays the 5 defensively. I know he can't shoot. He's scared to shoot, but you can't teach size, man. Dude. He's 7 feet or he's 6'10", or he's big.
Ben Simmons is the man. I got a lot of opinions about Ben Simmons getting a raw deal. Like that. That's the negative side of Kaminga's career right there. Is like bad situation continued. So,
Yeah.
like I think Ben Simmons has a lot of upside to this day.
Yeah. I mean, look, something happened here clearly, psychologically, because he's literally afraid to shoot the basketball now. Like he literally will try to avoid getting fouled so he can't shoot free throws. Like that's some serious shit, man. But the talent is there. I feel like he needs a coach. Yeah, he needs some nurturing. Gary Trent Jr.
Oh yeah, Gary. Love Gary.
He played, I think, for $3 million last year. I don't know if he's going to be down for that again.
It's been around a while.
I wouldn't hate it.
He's been around a while. I love the way he comes around a dribble handoff. He'll get the ball and just jump on a dime straight up. That high release, like 7 feet in the air, like just dude jumps. His shot release is at the highest point of his jump. Can't block it. He's a firecracker. I like that guy.
I'm very curious to see where I'm not saying this player should go on the Warriors. I'm just saying I'm very curious to see where Russell Westbrook's going to go next year. This player is a restricted free agent, but if I'm the Warriors, I toss a $3 million a year deal at him to see if he's interested. And if the Nets match it, so be it. Zaire Williams he played for Stanford, lottery pick. I think he started his career in Memphis, and for whatever reason, his career was doing this, and they just kind of hit a rocky point there after I think year 2. That kid can play. I've always liked Zaire Williams. I feel like he just needs a good opportunity, a good environment, good culture. The Warriors could provide that. He gives you size. He can shoot the 3. He probably will come for cheap, but he is a restricted free agent. Do you have any thoughts or opinions on Zaire Williams as we start to get to the end here?
Dude, make it 23 years old, 6'9". That's a wing with all upside. Do it. Love it.
And there's one more player. Oh, and Shardall, by the way, likes the idea of Russell Westbrook playing for the Warriors. It would be interesting. I mean, he can't shoot his 3, but he can't shoot the 3 at all. The last name, there's one more name, and this is a very legitimate one. This is one that actually was very disappointed in the Warriors not pursuing a year ago. He's available again. He's an unrestricted free agent. I became first aware of him when he was lighting it up for Spain in the Summer Olympics last year, playing alongside Wembanyama. Like this guy a lot. I think he would be a great fit with the Golden State Warriors. Yabusele. He's a big. He can shoot the 3. He's got a high basketball IQ. His biggest issue in basketball early in his career was weight, and I think he figured that out. I think he can be cheap.
Interesting.
I would love some Yabusele on my Warriors. What do you think?
7'1" wingspan. That's crazy. 6'8".
He's a big dude. Yeah.
What's his current situation right now?
He was out of the NBA for a few years. I think he got drafted by the Celtics. Had weight issues, and he basically played himself out of the NBA. Was playing internationally, and then he got noticed playing for France. Like the French team went to the gold medal game, and that's how he got on my radar. So he played for Philly last year.
That's 70 games, 43 starts, 27 minutes a game, 11 points a game. Not bad, dude. 7'1" wingspan. Okay.
And that's my last guy. And that's my list of free agents who, within a very constrained budget, I wouldn't mind seeing the Warriors pursue them. And again, I have no clue what the market's going to look like because of how little cap space so many teams have. So maybe these guys are reachable. I don't know, but that's who I found.
Yeah, dude.
Anybody I missed? Anybody that you could think of that like Jamie 22, who's killing it tonight, writes that Yabusele is in Philly. But he's now an unrestricted free agent. Anybody could sign him. So yeah. And Kurt Porter brings up Nick Batum. We mentioned him early in the show. He's available as well. I would love him on the Warriors. He's turned down the Warriors in years past. The Warriors have made offers to him, but he's an LA guy. He loves to be in LA. Kev F brings up Thanasis as a free agent as well. But I'm pretty sure he goes wherever Giannis goes. I could be wrong with that, but that's it. I'm tapped. I'm done. We've been doing this for 2 hours, so that's the show. Any final thoughts from you?
No,
wrap it up.
You gave me hope, man. They're going to be able to fill out the roster with some wings. There's a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys out there. That's what I'm learning tonight. Yeah.
What would you? One name I didn't mention, and I actually would really much like him on the Warriors, and he might be polarizing. I don't know, but Andre Drummond is someone that I would be thrilled to bring off the bench for 10, 15 minutes a game. He would be an upgrade from your Trace Jackson Davis or pretty much anyone else not named Quentin Post just because he can't shoot the three. But rebounding, defense. I mean, if the Warriors had someone like him, man, for like the Rockets series. Anyways. They Call Me Crazy mentions trade up to select Cedric. His last name's not Coward, is it? Is that really his name? Cedric Coward? Come on. Is it Howard? Anyways, I don't know much about him. Okay. Your opinion is out there.
I'm going to look that name up. Cedric Howard, 6'6", 7'2", wingspan. Nice.
Kurt Porter, we mentioned Cruz Boucher already, but great call on that. Rich Dub, we just mentioned Zaire Williams, and yes, he is restricted, but that was a name that I mentioned. The Warriors should just make him an offer anyways and see if they'll match. Dying 1234 brings up Thomas Bryant. That's a good call. I actually forgot. I saw his name and did not mention it. I don't know why I didn't mention it. That's a good one. I would not hate Thomas Bryant on the Warriors. Great backup big if you end up with him. So I'm just seeing if there's anyone else. Oh, yeah. Dying 1234 mentioned that a few times. Yeah, I would not hate that. That was my bad. I just accidentally just missed it. Just did not say that out loud. All right. Is this your cousin, Andres?
Yeah, Andres, man.
I love
Play
it.
the guys they got. How about that?
Family affair, baby. I like it. Is Moses Moody coming back? What do you think? Because I'm seeing his name in some trades, and it makes me wonder.
They got their big shooting guard, and they got their athletic center. They just don't play.
I know. Yeah,
it ain't that hard, dude. Just play the best guys. They got the roster, man.
Yeah. They have a coaching problem, dude. It's no joke. That's the problem. And it's
What's the opposite of maxing out your team, your roster, quote unquote, maxing out. What's the opposite of maxing out your roster?
I mean, it's like overachieving, underachieving. So, but I'm trying to figure out what the right word is. Just wasting, I guess. You're just wasting your roster.
How many times did Moses Moody get DNP'd throughout regular seasons and get thrown into the playoffs? How often did that happen? That happened like 2 years in a row.
That's crazy. It's insane. All right, brother. You've got a column. It's on Substack.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been very quiet on the Substack front. My apologies. I'll get active on that again soon. But you're writing stuff. You're uploading podcasts. You're creating content. And it's awesome. And the column is called Sprewell Was Right, in reference to the great Latrell Sprewell choking out PJ Carlesimo, who, side note, you see him. I don't know if you do, but he's at the scores table for all these NBA Finals games doing the color analysis on radio broadcast. He's still around, dude. Carlesimo getting choked out. I love the name. What have you been writing about? Like, what has been your most recent stories that people can check out, and anything else you want to promote as we wrap it up?
And once a week. Right now I'm posting about how Steve Kerr is failing the end of Steph Curry's career. Just the last 3 years, it's just been loser ball. Last week I posted about what Reggie Miller's end of career versus Kobe Bryant can teach us how to treat Stephen Curry. This week, tomorrow, it's going to be Jonathan Kaminga's played long stretches of winning basketball. Next week, it's going to be Anthony Lamb, Klay Thompson, and Brandon Podemski are filling the same role on the Warriors. So I'm just going to keep it coming, link it together.
I love it. Subscribe. Substack is a great platform. And again, you can also subscribe to our Substack, which I will be active on in the near future. But I encourage people to subscribe to it, not necessarily for the Warriors content, although I am going to publish stuff there, but that's going to be our home base for the newsletter. And we're going to have a newsletter that's going to be released through there. So if you subscribe to the Substack, you'll get our newsletters, which will start being a weekly affair. I think I'm going to do that every Friday. But if you want consistent content that's being published now, go check out Armando Laura's, the professor himself. writer of Sprewell Was Right. Phenomenal name. And I hope you folks enjoyed the show. There are names out there. Like the Warriors have potential. And look, man, in all seriousness, like let's say it's a perfect scenario offseason. Let's say they get you're not a big fan of DeAnthony Melton. Is that correct?
I am. I'm just worried about the injuries.
That's fair. But so let's say, from my perspective at least, let's say they get DeAnthony Melton. Let's say they also can sign like a Brook Lopez. And then they decide to fill out the roster. Okay, Pat Spencer, maybe they'll give him a guaranteed deal. Kevin Knox, okay, we'll give you a guaranteed deal. Bam! That's 14. And that's your roster, and this is provided you get Kaminga back. My thing is, if that's your team next year, where your starting five is hypothetically Steph, like who's the starting two next year? Would that be Melton? Moody?
I mean,
so let's say hypothetically it's for the sake of argument, let's say it's Steph. If Kaminga comes back, he's going to be starting. So Steph, Kaminga, Butler, Draymond, and Brook Lopez. Let's say hypothetically that's your five. And then your bench has dudes like DeAnthony Melton, Moses Moody, Brandon Pajemski, Trace Jackson Davis, Quinn Post. That's a team that I think can compete with the best of them. I really do believe that. I don't know. Any final thoughts from you?
You play that lineup with Kaminga 30 minutes a game with the best player, they win the championship. It's literally that easy.
And any final thoughts on Game 7 Sunday? We're going to go live. Shardal asked in the chat, what are you doing Sunday? Let me find your comment again. Here it is.
Who do you think's going to win?
So Sunday, the moment the Valkyries game is over, we'll go live. I don't know what the schedule is in terms of which goes first. Actually, I'll try to answer that right now. So NBA Finals Game 7 is going to be tip-off is 5 p.m. Sunday. And then you look at the WNBA and the Valkyries play Sunday. They tip off at, hold on here. Okay, so the Valkyries tip off Sunday at 5:30 p.m. Oh, wow. Okay, so these two guys, wow. So the Valkyries game tips off a half hour after Game 7. So basically, we're just going to have a Valkyries / Game 7 post-game show. That's on the agenda for Sunday. Armando, you're welcome to join me if you want. I have nothing scheduled. What I do have scheduled for Sunday is Ryan Leong. He's going to be at the Valkyries game, and he'll join me from Chase Center soon after the game. Otherwise, if you're available, Armando, the invite's open. If not, I totally understand. But I'll be here Sunday. Any final thoughts? Anything you'd like to promote before we go, Armando?
No, thanks for the time, Si. You're great. Love the content. Can't wait for more.
Right back at you, man. And hope everyone's having a good summer. I think the summer officially starts tomorrow or 2 days from now. Have a great summer, everybody. Hope you're already enjoying the weather. And let's hope the Warriors do something.
Man, it's happening right now, Si. Off-season is going down right now. Literally, the Indiana Pacers are making trades during the finals.
That is crazy.
Happening right now.
That is crazy, dude. They did. You're absolutely right. They made a trade. It was picks? They swapped picks, I think is what they did. Like
nobody's watching the finals. Everybody's making trades. I'm serious.
I know you are. I'm laughing at the lunacy of that, but you're right. It is crazy, man. The hot. They think in Major League Baseball they call it hot stove. I don't know what the name of it is in basketball, but it is wild. It is interesting, and stay tuned for that. Are we done, Armando?
Yes, sir.
Bye-bye.